Yes, totally agree, Nate. The late game in Fallen Order is way better than the early game.
Maybe I should finish that game. I put it on easy, and I was like, okay, this is, I guess, okay. Because then you can hack and slash a little more.
There are better games you can.
But most of the like really satisfying, engaging, like you have to learn it a little bit, and you feel like a badass at the end of it. Duels come after the second half for sure.
Okay, but I don't want to learn how to duel. That's the thing.
but Star Wars.
I'm a Jedi. I want to just.
What's the first word that comes after Jedi most of the time? Duels. Knight? Oh, Knight. Yeah, you're right.
Master.
I fucked that up.
Initiate?
Okay, what's like the fifth most
Acolyte?
common?
What else you got?
Order? Jedi Order?
Fallen Order.
No, I'm saying word
Council.
after Jedi. Yeah, there's lots of them.
Cereal.
Okay.
I don't know now.
Poodoo.
Okay, Younglings. Oof, not anymore.
So thanks for joining us on this endless preamble. We'll see you guys next time when we almost start episode 90.
Holy shit, guys! We're not even through like the pre-recording at 10 minutes. This is gonna be a long episode. All right,
let's
here we
do
go. This. All right, let's.
I'm gonna push us.
Wrangle this fucking thing. Here we go.
Okay,
this is happening.
Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
Happy Friday, and welcome to... Oh, my child just flushed the toilet in the background. I hope you all heard that. Welcome to episode 89 of Mythos Busters. This is Sean, and joining me are my fellow Mythos Busters. We've got Scott. Hey, Scott.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm fantastic. Today is a good day.
Today is a good day. It's release day. It's a big release day.
Boy, is it
it's
ever.
It's like half a year's worth of content release day.
Oh, you're talking about cards. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Wait. All right, glossing past that. Also with us is Nick.
Hello.
Hey, Nick.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Are you also ready to release?
I already had one, but I'm ready for another one, I think.
Glossing past that, joining us as well is Ian.
Hello.
Hi, Ian.
Did
Say
you
something
say
wholesome for
blasting
fuck's
past?
Did I say glassing? Glossing.
I thought you said blasting.
Oh boy. And this has been episode 89.
Also, we're 12 years old. Thanks.
Boy, is it ever a Friday night.
Yeah.
We've got a very fun episode for you guys tonight. We've got a decent amount of, kind of news. Let's go with news.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our main topic tonight, wherein we are going to finally start getting our hands around some of all of this new content we have. We are going to be reviewing the cards from the Nathaniel Cho starter deck.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting our hands around, right? Because these hands with the gloves and the
Like boxers.
pop. Yeah.
You know how boxers with hands?
with
Yeah,
the
they
hands
grab
and
things with the
Oh,
gloves.
they
Yep,
wrap-
that's how
yeah.
boxing goes.
I believe in boxing it's called clinching. So
That is
if we
correct.
we're gonna clinch these cards.
Yes.
I don't
And
know
we're
enough
gonna
about
bite their
boxing
ear.
to disprove you.
Better than clenching. Wait, are you saying clenching?
No, it's clinch.
Clinch with an I. Okay.
It's when they hug and the referee separates them.
Guys, we
Very
didn't get any
annoying.
of this weird shit out during the preamble. This is the weirdest.
Oh my god.
I feel like if you've hugged, then you've missed with both your hands.
Or maybe you hit exactly what you wanted to.
The real hits are the friends we find along the way. Alright,
All
okay.
right.
Anyways.
Anyway, so let's move on to our announcements. So, as you guys know, we've talked about it a bit. We did Farcom Con back in early August, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
But then Arkham Knights got canceled. I don't know if you guys know this. Probably would have been a good way to start this whole segment, is just to let you know that Arkham Knights got canceled. So I'm sorry if that was abrupt. That's on me.
I think that's just pull off the Band-Aid. That's the only way.
Yeah.
It's the way
But
to
bad
go.
news, good news situation. Huh?
Exactly right. Because Farcom Knights is going to be off the Hizook.
Yep, that is correct.
That's something the youths say.
I mean, he's not.
It was on fleek.
Oh boy.
It was lit.
October 22nd to 25th.
It makes one want to dab. Yes, so we are going to be running another virtual event in place of Arkham Knights because that's just a hole we cannot abide, right? We knew it was coming, but it's still just a hit to see, I'm not going to see everyone this year.
Yeah.
So, if you were hoping to come and join, or to pay attention and engage in the Iron Man festivities, fear not, they will come to you this year. Arkham Knights is going to be thrown, currently, save the dates, October 22nd to the 25th. And I'm pretty sure we're slating Iron Man for the 24th, so if Iron Man is your main interest, then that's the date you really want to hold on to. We're going to be doing the Circle Undone this year, and Ian has a spreadsheet already, so I'm excited.
I do. Yeah. Yep, this is there'll be more details to come, but for sure Iron Man is going to happen. So if you've always wanted to participate in Iron Man but have never been able to make it out to Minnesota, this is the sterling perfect chance to do so.
But, don't miss Minnesota next time either.
No.
It's delightful.
It's
particularly in October.
It's the best.
Because that's when
event
Arkham
of the
Knights
year.
is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the most wonderful time. But anyway, so we're going to be throwing for Arkham Knights. We're definitely going to be doing Iron Man virtual on Saturday with everyone who wants to participate. We're going to have fun swag. There's going to be a shirt you can buy so you can wear the uniform with the rest of us. It's going to be a huge community thing, so mark it on your calendar. Get your partners to watch the kids or dogs or cats. Cats need watching, right? Is that a thing?
Not really.
Okay. I've never had
They
a cat.
do the watching.
It's more like you need to watch out for cats.
If you can get your partner to do that, then bully, because on October the 24th this year, we're going to be running through the Circle Undone all in one day, and it's going to be amazing, so hold it on your calendar for us. More details to come in the future as we flesh out that particular schedule. Guys, before we get into kind of the main part of the episode, though, I do want to check in. What Arkham have ye been playing of late? Ian, you had a very interesting solo session that was recorded and then posted.
That is correct, yeah. I've been continuing the Abandoned and Alone series with Solo Mark, which has been, I'm like 2 scenarios in. I don't want to spoil too much so people are forced to go listen to it, but it's been a good time so far, and I'm enjoying it more than the first campaign around, which was a whole experience. I've been playing a lot of Arkham, so I've been continuing Leo and Ursula through Return to TFA. But that campaign ended last night. So
Ruh-roh.
yeah, I'll talk more about that when we actually talk about Return to TFA. But it was funny because I was like, these starter decks are coming out today, but I gotta keep my campaign going. So what am I gonna play? Which one am I gonna focus on? And then the game decided for me last night by ending the campaign early.
I was just about to say, I knew the whole story by the way you set it up, because as opposed to, the way most of us would say, I finished the campaign last night.
Oh no, it finished me.
we went to passive tense on that.
I was finished. Yes.
The encounter deck was like, I got you, bro. I'll make this decision for you. It's done. But a big lion's share of what I've been playing is experimenting with parallel skids. And, oh man, I'm having so much fun. He's quickly rising up the ranks to become one of my favorites. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's so much fun. I like him so much more than the original skids.
Fucking toss me that build, bro, because I haven't had a chance to devote any brain power to it yet.
Yeah, I tried 1 or 2 builds that I kind of bounced off of, and I was like, eh. And then I decided to go... I think what really opened it up for me is trying standalone with him first. So I tried standalone's parallel skids against this special challenge scenario. And then I basically used that build as kind of the mold to build towards, and then started a Return to TFA campaign with him. And then once I had that kind of final form in mind, it gave me a good guide. So the standalone build has some weird things going on. So one of the things I'm finding that's actually one of the biggest strengths of Skids is the 25 cards. Like at first when I saw that, I was like, I think I even posted in our mod chat, like, how the hell am I going to cut down to 25? Like I ripped my hair out trying to cut down to 30. But the 25 just means you can get through your deck pretty quickly and makes it very consistent. So one of the cards I have is 3 aces in here. So 3 aces, I'm able to get those pretty consistently out because of the small deck size and some card draw. Definitely All In is a key card in the deck. So I'm looking at my standalone version here, but All In. So that's something you can do like a gambling test for difficulty 0 and then throw All into that. And then I threw in Double or Nothing and All into a gambling 0 test.
The dream.
So with that ability, do you just generally lean harder into agility so you have a high stat? Is that what you're doing?
Yes and no. Like I do try to include a good bit of agility icons, also a lot of wild icons, but I'm also leaning a lot on like well connected and high roller, so those can even boost a test if need be. So those are kind of and generally like, so the gambling tests I'm usually doing are either A, just like, oh, let me do 3 to 1 and get an extra resource this turn, like a knockoff Jenny, or I'll do like a gambling 0 test and throw in like a watch this, All In, quick thinking, those kind of cards to just get like a very easily passed test that are going to get you a bunch of goodies. So the other part of this deck that was weird, I started off with Bow, and it was fine. Bow's a great card for Skids, but I'm like, I've done this before. I need some new stuff in my life. So I threw in Sawed Off Shotgun, and that's where everything really turned on for this build and what makes
So anyway,
it a lot
I
of
started
fun.
blasting.
Yep. Because it's a sleight of hand build with Sawed Off Shotgun and like flashlight, but like one of my games I did last night was Sawed Off Shotgun. There was a boss with 5 health, threw in 3 aces, Sawed Off Shotgun, boom, you're dead, one shot. So
Woof.
it's a lot of fun. So Sawed Off Shotgun is a card that I didn't think I'd get much use out of, but in this build it works quite well because able to nail those tests, All In, momentum. And so then when I took it back to like level 0, I was like, is this gonna work well at level 0? And yeah, he kind of got through both Untamed Wilds and Doom of Esli pretty quickly and pretty well without too many problems. Threads of Fate went downhill, but that's another story. But
So Ian, I have 2 quick questions for you.
Yeah.
One, are you running Easy Mark to get through your deck quicker?
I am not, no.
Okay. Second, do you think any kind of, however you want to make parallel skids work, is he better for bow skids or anti-aircraft skids?
Is he better than both?
No, sorry. Like, do you think he's a better frame than regular skids for anti-aircraft gun skids?
That's
I'll take that as a no.
Question.
Okay.
I don't.
Because he can't take venture, can he?
No, he cannot. No. I want to say original is probably better, just because original kind of leans you more towards those extra actions, and in general, a bow build is better when you got those extra actions. I mean, of course, you could take like Manatee in this build, but I think this build really benefits when you're doing like crazy, like high impact. Like I almost view this could be a good boss killer in like a standalone or multiplayer when it's like, yep, 3 aces, Sawed Off Shotgun, Double or Nothing, boom. Like, just annihilate a boss.
Why shoot an arrow when you can shoot 1,000 pellets?
Yep.
Nick, what have you been playing? I think Sean's busy.
I have the only Arkham I've played has been with Sean in the last couple of weeks. We've been continuing our remote play Dream Eaters campaign. We did 2 scenarios last week. Gosh, what were they? They're the Point of No Return and Dark Side of the Moon. And then this week, just last night, we played... Wait, was it last night? What's today? Friday? Yeah,
yes.
Last night. We played Where the Gods Dwell. So for the Dream side, I'm running Wendy. And for the Waking side, I'm running Min, and I've already gushed about my Min deck and how much I love it because it's so much fun. Wendy is... I was leaning hard into, like... I was trying to make this build work for Wendy where the whole idea was to keep her hand size down. Where I'd be pitching a lot of cards. I'd have a lot of cards that would let me just do some quick draws here and there just to keep ammunition for her ability. But
I think your other thing was like to be just like very judicious with her ability.
Well, yeah, and also I wanted to make what is it? Last Chance, is that the name of the survivor skill with 5 wilds?
The one of 2 cards that we have that's like, hey, if you have no cards in your hand.
Yeah, that I never played once throughout the whole campaign with Wendy.
Nope.
So the card that kind of started the whole idea for the deck ended up never getting played. But she still
because you picked Pickpocket instead.
Right. Well, because I expected to be ditching all the time, and then so I knew I needed card draw to mitigate that. But anyway, it was still really fun. Like, she still was a lot of fun, and because she was paired with Sean's Dexter, I leaned pretty heavily into clue getting, especially going into Where the Gods Dwell, which you guys want to talk about a roller coaster, and by roller coaster I mean a straight downhill shot from the start all the way to the end. That Where the Gods Dwell game was...
Light mechanical spoilers for, like, enemies, I guess. Because...
Yes, yeah, okay, so there's one... so...
Enemy,
one,
sorry. There's
enemy,
one
it's
enemy
really
that's
one.
a particular concern here.
Early in the game, I played... What did I play? I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember, but I had pickpocketing in my hand. I was like, I should get that into play, just in case an enemy pops up, then I have, something to really work off of the evasion. And then the first encounter card drawn was the Dole from the Wastes. That's like a 6 fight, 6 health, 2 evade. And so I was like, okay, well, all right, I guess I'm working on this guy. And Sean
I'm Dexter, so I had like a Derringer and a Switchblade in my hand.
Yeah.
Which generally are pretty good cards because you can commit, and I've got High Roller. It's like a big money deck. Like, I can normally take care of things, but 6 health, 6 fight, turn 1 was like... Wendy?
So what proceeded, and then not only that, but then the next turn, so like you weren't even able to deal with the Dole because the next turn you then drew the Liar with no face.
Yes, that's
which
right.
you ended up drawing that enemy like 4 times throughout the course of the whole game.
Yeah, they are bullet/charge soaks, let me tell you.
So the first half of the game was me running interference on the Dole, keeping him evaded so that we could then also get clues and take care of the monk and all that, or the high priest. And then we're like, okay, we made it to the second half of the scenario. We don't have to worry about the Dole anymore. He's gone. And then literally like round 1 of the second half of the scenario, when we have the new map, he pops out again. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, so then the second, like literally a third of my actions in that
more
whole
than that.
game were just
more than that.
devoted to engaging and exhausting that guy. Ugh. But... in spite of all that, we still squeezed out a win.
Yes, we did. That is the first W I've put up in Where the Gods Dwell ever.
Yeah, and I'm going to take Scott and Ian's silence as being shocked into
and awed.
speechlessness.
And
yes.
odd. Mine is awe. I assume Ian is shocked.
That'd be a really
that is
good,
correct.
like, tag team wrestler.
Shock and awe, yeah.
You know what?
I'm
Actually,
sure that existed.
I'm Pikachu face. Is what I'm
Yeah, so it was really fun. It was really, like, it was a very hair-pulling game. But we put up a W. We won.
We did.
So
we
it
put up a
was
W
fun.
with an asterisk because we
There's an
forgot like
asterisk,
one. We forgot one skill boost, or sorry, a stat boost for an enemy on a very key evade test. So but
Literally right at the end, yeah.
yes, but that game came down to the very last action for me to hit the last test on the 3rd location with the proper hidden card, and it is the first time I've ever actually beat that scenario. So.
Yeah,
I was
that was fun, and then that also then prompted like discussions about what this is going to look like during Iron Man next year, and like what proper, like, is it going to be easier in 4-player? Is it going to be harder? Like, how are we going to deal with that? So, either way, I still think Where the Gods Dwell is like, I love the scenario, like what it's going for and its theming. I really just think those last 2 agendas should be 6 Doom. that's all it comes down to for me. You know what I mean? Like, if they were just 6 Doom, I'd feel better about it.
It's got cool things going for it, but jeez, it's cramped.
Yeah. And then we'll be playing, hopefully sometime this weekend or maybe early next week, we'll be playing the Weaver of Cosmos to close out that campaign. And I'll be getting back to the recent love of my life, Min, and that Min deck that I'm running. Holy cow. It's just so fun testing for like 9 off of fight on Min, you know. So
it's pretty great.
But
and that pretty much covers most of my Arkham. I have I have salty feelings about how my Thelma and Louise, Agnes and Carolyn campaign ended through TCU because of Before the Black Throne. I have lots of feelings about Before the Black Throne, but it ended horribly. Like that, we got there, it was fine. The deck comboed exactly like a mastermind would want it to, and I didn't even make it to the second map setup. It was pretty gross. But anyway, whatever. I'll take a loss in the last scenario, even if it's a blowout. Except I'm super bitter about it. Ian, what have you been playing? Or Scott, what have you been playing?
Well, I finished my first return to TFA campaign. I am super happy with Return to the Forgotten Age. We were discussing before the show, I think I have grown to very much love TFA, and I was never someone who hated it. It frustrated me, for sure, but I think in a good way. I was like, this is frustrating, but I know it's beatable, and I know it's going to work eventually, right? Like, I just need to figure it out, and once I figured it out, it's an absolutely amazing campaign. Return to TFA really just took every small issue I think that there was and made it better. And yeah, I actually did it two-handed, and it's like one of the first two-handed campaigns I've done in a long time. And I decided to go a little crazy with who I was going to play, and I took Mark and Tony together.
Wow.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
So how much vengeance did you end up?
I think I was only at, was it 8 or 9 by the end? It wasn't, 8 or 9 going into depths.
It's not too
I only had to remove.
That's not offensive.
No, it wasn't. And then I killed things in that scenario with vengeance.
As you do.
Yep. And not just on the card, but like just absolutely murdered Yig. And it was like, I remember when we were playing at Arkham Knights last year, and like we barricaded Yig, and it's like, we're not stuck in here with you're stuck in here with us.
Yeah.
It was just Tony and Mark just going down. But so Mark has so many clue options now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I played Seeker Tony, and man, did they just work so well together, because there's so many cards like Scene of the Crime. It just 2 clues, right? I took all the 2 clue tech, and just, it was amazing. And auto clues wherever I could get them.
I feel like Mark was the butt of a lot of jokes of like who you shouldn't take for solo Guardian, but like nowadays with his innate skill booster that also draws him a card,
Yes.
it's like unexpected courage that draws a card at the cost of a health, which is easy to recover from.
Yeah.
And all the options he has, and how many amazing tactics there are now.
And
like
practice makes perfect.
I've always thought he was good solo, just because he had the at will +2. Like,
Yeah.
that
Sophie's
alone
quite
is
good.
good.
Yeah, it was one of the funnest campaigns I've had, because I was like, okay, well, I have combat on lock, right? Like,
Yeah. Yep.
base 5, they can punch their way out of anything. Now it's just clue issues. So yeah, it was super fun, and I love Return to TFA.
I'm so excited.
I think it's probably I don't know. I might play normal TFA as well, because like Dunwich, I only play Return now.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh yeah.
But
So what? So without being too spoilery, what about normal? What about vanilla TFA, OG TFA, would cause you to go back and play that?
I think it's just all the quote unquote problems that some people have with scenarios in that game. I'm okay with it, right? Like the Boundary Beyond being an absolute butt kicker. Now I know how to defeat it. I love City of Archives, and I think it's a fun deck construction challenge where you need to take a deck through a campaign that's also going to be able to handle
No
City of
items
Archives,
and no
right?
ability. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I love TFA mechanically. I honestly do. And yeah, Heart of the Elders is kind of a lower point because you might have to repeat, but I don't know.
I would argue that Heart is the lowest point of that campaign. Like, everyone talks about Bonder Beyond because it's a kick in the teeth, but it's only a kick in the teeth the first couple times, and once you get the rhythm of the scenario down, then you can usually handle it decently. Heart is like... Heart's frustrating, and I haven't played Return to yet, but... And again, we said this during our stream earlier, but welcome to the TFA cast. Super timely. But... Heart of the Elders is one that's like, I can see what it was going for, because it's the 2 scenario thing, but both scenarios are just too similar to previous ones, and they're not different and interesting enough on their own. So, I don't know. To me, that's
that scenario, I think... I just sleeved it, and this is like gut feeling. I didn't actually count anything, but I feel like that scenario had the most extra cards added to it for Return, so...
Sure.
All I'm going to say to cap this off, because we have a lot of stuff to cover in this episode, so we gotta get going. Return to all the gripes that I have heard are I don't know, what do you call it? Softened with Return. Addressed. Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to say. It Return is an amazing. Return to TFA is an absolutely amazing product.
Agreed.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The places that needed to touch got touched, and that's the important thing.
That is possibly the worst way to say that.
There's worse
boy
ways.
could ever ask for.
I try.
You were here for our opener. There are worse
My
ways to
job
say that.
is done here.
Actually, Ian, we need you to talk patrons.
Oh, true. Okay. So, patron stuff. First off, thanks so much to our board members. That's Chris B, Chris H, Chris M, our conglomeration of Chris's. Morton, Jared, Ian, Kyle, Philip, Dave, Obilio, Nathan, Chad, and Robert. Thanks so much, board members, for all that you do to support us. Special shout out to a random patron this time around is Brainiac. Is that Brainiac from the Star Wars CCG? Is that
it better be?
Anyway,
his destiny
number is pi.
Yep.
Gonna have to crunch the numbers on that. Brainiac, thank you so much. If you haven't visited mythosmerch.com, do so. Check it out. We have so much different swag there that you can partake in. Tattoo, yes. Sean is altering his body forever, and you have a chance to vote in that. Voting ends September 2nd. If you're a patron, go to our patron page and you'll find the link to vote for which tattoo Sean should get. Patrons at any level get to vote. If you're not a patron, sadly you won't get a vote there, but you can still heckle Sean, or I don't know what else you can do to Sean, but you can't vote for the tattoo that goes on his body, I'll tell you that much.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna check with my tattoo artist and her studio. Obviously, I'm gonna take pictures and videos if I can. I'm gonna stream on our Discord. Discord has like a live feature that I want to try testing out. So if you haven't joined Discord yet, and that's the reason that'll make you do it, then come on in. If they'll let me do it at the studio, I will stream this thing live. Next weekend, is it already? Whew. I'm excited. I'm excited. There's a clear winner so far in the voting, and if I'm being honest, it's the one I liked more, so I'm pretty excited about it. Either idea I'm super okay with, but yeah, anyway. Whew. So, come join in my pain.
Yep.
I'm excited. You should be too. Also be jealous because apparently tattoo places are shut down everywhere. Well, not everywhere. Lots of other places other than the Midwest, so.
Yeah, I know, right? Hopefully at some point they'll open up again so I can decide where to get and what to get on my body. Next patron goal is another standalone scenario. We're very close. We're scarily close. Dissonant Voices update. So Dissonant Voices, that's our audio recording of the campaign story text. So we have a lot completed now. All of Dream Eaters is up there. TFA all the way up to City of Archives is completed, and I should have the last two completed by the next episode for sure. So all of TFA will be done, and Night of the Zealot is all done as well. So lots of progress there. We're busy hammering out the other campaigns as well. So if you're interested in that, again, that's something you get access to if you're a patron at any level. Even just $1 will get you access to those. So that's a fun way to get the story experience without having to worry your little eyeballs about reading the actual text.
Or hell, if you're hosting a group, like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm excited. I'm excited for myself. Like, I'm very glad for all the patrons. That was the point. That was 100% the point of all of this, I promise. But I'm super excited because now I'm like, you're going to be finished before I finish my Return to Forgotten Age, so I'll just be able to do it the whole way through. It's going to be great.
The biggest feedback I've heard is from people saying like, "Oh, I had 3 friends over, and like as we're like shuffling our decks and setting stuff up, it's playing, and so everyone's getting the story.
Perfect.
And then it's like proceed to setup, and you're like done, and then you just play."
Yeah.
That was entirely the mission statement, so I'm so happy to hear that.
I know just reading through and recording, I've caught so many little details in the story that I never noticed before. I'm like, oh, really? That happened? I do not remember that.
Yes. Yes. Now, translate that to Dream Eaters.
Oof.
Or I'm excited to do TCU at some point, too. We're going to co-op TCU. But anyway,
Yes.
it's out there. We're getting our shit updated. They're out there. I'm so excited. Return to Forgotten Age. It's going to be great.
Yep. And final bit of Patreon business. We do have some new job titles to give out because we have 4 new employees in the Mythos Busters offices. First of all, Sarah Compton Hall is going to be the official King in Yellow dance troupe costume designer. The mouthful of a title there. But definitely some key work done as the Mythos Busters offices looks to put on an official production of King in Yellow. Sarah will be doing the costume design for that.
I've heard that the ballet at the beginning of Act 2 wouldn't work without it.
And you know what? If you want a little sneak peek, or if you want to join the dance troupe, in Boardroom 6 every Thursday at lunch they practice. So it's gonna be great.
But we haven't had a legit offices joke in a while. That was
Michael Fulton is going to be taking on the also equally important role of Innsmouth fish sandwich architect. So you can look forward to some nice Innsmouth fish sandwiches on the cafeteria menu soon. Daniel Wade.
half price on Fridays during Lent.
that is correct. Daniel Wade will be the deputy manatee wrangler, because Lord knows manatees need wrangling.
And he's recently been deputized too, because the last one met an unfortunate end. So
Yes.
I'm not sure if he's full-time yet, but he has been deputized, so he's in that position.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you see an unwrangled manatee, you know who to call. And finally, Mark Maddox has the illustrious title of Purveyor of Office Ventilation Shaft Schematics. Yep.
Ventilation is very important in an office.
It is. Yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Especially if we were ever to have like a diehard, terrorist takeover situation. We're going to want those.
That's the main
Die
thing.
Hard like the movie. I thought you meant Die Hard like really devoted.
Well, yes.
Well, and now that we're serving Innsmouth fish sandwiches in the cafeteria,
Yes. We're gonna
like
need
you
good
want to make
ventilation.
sure that those ventilation shafts go the right direction.
Very
Back
true.
into the offices, right? Like
Yeah, just cycle it back around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really get that seal in the flavor.
Look for the flavor,
And the
Tim.
flavor.
Nick,
Right. Yes,
we had some news of late. What was it?
we did. We got a news article released from. Well, we didn't get it. FFG released a news article called "In Too Deep." It is previewing.
How quickly we slip into the passive tense.
I know, right? In Too Deep, it is a preview of the first Mythos pack from the Innsmouth Conspiracy. Revealed a couple of new player cards, revealed some notes about the scenario, which we're not going to go into too much detail regarding that. We never really do with scenario stuff. But I do want to highlight that there are 15 locations in this.
The moment
Ian,
we've
they
been
called us
waiting for.
crazy.
Hashtag Big Map Boys.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's so exciting. Looks like you'll be moving through different parts of Innsmouth, trying to escape, and there are barricades and such in your way that you have to navigate as you go. So it looks exciting. But what's even more exciting are the player cards that are revealed. There's a card fan that has a few things on it. I think we'll cover that one last. We'll go through the two that we have straight up spoiled first. And the first one is Ancient Covenant. So, Scott, do you want to read us this
Sure
Survivor card?
So Ancient Covenant is a level 2 null costed asset for Survivor. It's null costed because it is permanent. It is Covenant and Blessed traded. So Mateo can take it, right? He's Blessed 0 to 3.
Yep.
Yeah. Permanent and limit 1 Covenant per deck. Reaction: when an investigator at your location resolves a Blessed token during a skill test, exhaust Ancient Covenant. Do not reveal another token as part of this Blessed token's token effect. So you basically reveal a +2 and exhaust this, and your test is done.
Puts a period in place of that comma.
Yep.
That seems really good to me for 2 XP. I like if I'm taking, if I'm playing Innsmouth, or we know that myself and other players in the group are playing with cards that are throwing Blessed tokens in the bag, I'm going to take that all day.
Yeah.
And permanent, right? Like if Bless and Curse is going to be this big token play throughout the game, or throughout the cycle, this being permanent, like, you know, it's kind of like On Your Own when it got permanent, right? It's like, now I can build a deck around it because I'm going to have it.
Especially if you've taken one token of faith that we've discussed up to this point. It's only going to increase your number of targets, too.
Yep. If someone is playing Sister Mary, you're probably gonna want to include this. But yeah, just all those factors. Permanent, so you don't have to pay for it. Doesn't take up space in your deck. Doesn't take up a slot. Like, I don't know. I mean, what more do you want from this card?
It's interesting too because the article mentions, I think, did it say there's 1 Covenant per class or something? But there's one. You can only have 1 Covenant per deck, so you have to pick the one you want. Yeah,
and they're all within kind of the normal off-class range.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's very Dark
nice.
Soulsy.
Yes.
and blasphemous, Sean.
Yeah, I would say in that same vein is the Blasphemous Covenant. Blasphemous Covenant is a level 2 Seeker asset. It is also null costed, permanent, limit 1 Covenant per deck, just like the Ancient Covenant. Covenant and Curse traded. Reaction: when an investigator at your location reveals a Curse token during a skill test, exhaust Blasphemous Covenant. Treat that token's modifier as +1 instead of its normal modifier. After this test ends, return that token to the Chaos Bag. Okay. It only works on the first Curse token you draw, so there's the possibility that you'll still kind of get semi-hosed, depending on what your value is before you draw tokens.
And you still draw another one.
Yep.
At least that one is out of the bag, but until the end of the test.
But it goes back in the bag.
Well, during the test, at least, it's out of the bag. I like this in multiplayer where you're just like, no, that's your problem for the rest of the board. Because you put it back in the bag, but it didn't affect you.
It's the equivalent of like looking at everyone else, and just slowly sliding it back in.
You accidentally pulled out the crushed donut from the box, and you're going back for one of the nice-looking ones.
Yeah, I think it has uses. I think Ancient is more of a clear cut. Like, this is great, and Blasphemous it's trickier.
Yeah,
and like a lot of our Blessing Curse discussion all falls back onto it's really hard to quantify it just because we're not playing consistently with these tokens yet. So,
I think in particular, if you've got a card that derives you a positive benefit from seeing a Curse token, this gets better.
Yes,
because it keeps them in there.
And I think Blasphemous might actually be better solo because you're controlling how many curses are in there. And, once per round, once per, like, those tests you can use. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still a bit skeptical. Ian, are you skeptical?
Well, before we get to that, I guess I'll save my thought for after we go over this one. All right, Skeptic. We will maintain the segue. Skeptic is a level 1 rogue skill, a wild icon, practice traded. During the skill test, treat the modifier of each bless and each curse token as +1 instead of its normal modifier. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, I mean, of course, depending on if Bless and Curse is a thing in the campaign you're playing or the cards that are being used among your group, but That seems like I have parallel skids on the brain because I've been playing that build, and there's just a lot of like stakes tests where like I need to succeed by a lot on this, and that's when I'd throw in skeptic and turn those into an even bigger margin of victory.
What immediately jumps to mind for me is, okay, I'm going to pump the bag full of blesses and curses, and then I'm going to bring out my sawed-off shotgun, and I'm going to skeptically look down the sights and blast the hell out of something.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I guess what I was going to ask was, like, thinking about these cards, do you feel like all this bless and curse stuff is, I won't say forced, but encouraging players to synergize a bit more in multiplayer and think about what cards everyone else is including? Because, like, some of these cards, like, you're not even going to think about including unless the rest of your team is kind of on board with this. Throwing these tokens in there.
I totally agree. I think it's going to be a situation of, like, coordinating and maximizing your different effects, because it doesn't seem like they all go together. They all kind of play with the same-ish thing, but they don't all go the same direction with it. Or I think it's going to be while you're playing Innsmouth.
Well, I think too that if you're playing with curses, I think you need to synergize a lot more, and everyone has to be aware of that. But if you just have someone who their shtick is like supporting everyone, like a true support deck, and they're just pumping blast tokens in the bag like all game, maybe that's as much coordination as you need from that player.
I wonder how possible it will be after this box releases, or after this cycle releases entirely, to build a deck that only introduces blessed tokens and doesn't. I have a feeling that it's going to be harder. Like, I have a feeling that most cards are going to do both, or you know what I mean? Like, I wonder how well you could build a deck that is just like, all I do is blessed tokens, because I feel like that would be too powerful. You know what I mean?
I think it's going to depend on your class, from what I'm seeing. Like,
Sure.
It's just going to depend on who can pull together the right combination of cards to just go hard in that direction. And it's probably going to be a list of like 2 to 3 investigators.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true. Like, Sister Mary is all
I imagine she'll be one of those 2 to 3.
Yeah. When looking at the curse symbol, does anyone else see that 3-pointed sword from Breath of the Wild?
I didn't until you linked
Yes.
it.
Okay.
The Yiga... No, wait, the Tri-Lizal boomerang
Yeah, the Lizal
sword.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
totally. Good.
Totally.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really need
Anyway.
an Eye of Chaos for that one, hey, Sean?
Well, I'm going to do my best to read it here. It is slightly obscured.
Ever so slightly, but...
Eye of Chaos is a level 0 mystic asset. It is 5 cost. It has an intellect icon. It has spell and cursed traits. It has uses 3 charges, not 5. I'm going to assume action, spend a charge. Think that seems pretty safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Investigate using willpower and of intellect.
Yeah.
If successful, discover 1 additional clue at this location. If a curse token is revealed during this investigation, you may discover 1 clue at a connecting location or place 1 charge on Eye of Chaos, and it takes up an arcane slot.
So, Sean, when I read this card, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought this, although I might be, I feel like this is making Rite of Seeking obsolete. Do you feel the same or no?
Okay. I definitely had that question in my mind. I don't know if I have a definitive answer. My thoughts are thus. Moving from a 4-cost asset to a 5-cost asset is a big move.
Yes.
Sure.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Also, I've played enough with Rite of Seeking that unless you're like relying on Rite of Seeking to be your main clue acceleration, the whole pull a bad stuff, end your turn is pretty workable. You can work around that. You can get lucky sometimes. I think in the entirety of our campaign where I was running level 2 in Dexter, I have had my turn ended once. You can kind of work with it. So I think as long as you learn to work with Rite of Seeking, I don't think it completely obsoletes it just because of that cost. However, one extra resource, you're getting the same amount of charges, you're getting the same effect, and you're getting a potential bonus if you or anyone else are playing with curse tokens, or you're playing Innsmouth Conspiracy. I think it is overcome a pretty attractive value proposition.
You have to overcome the curse, though. That's the thing.
That's true.
It's a -2.
You still have to hit it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to overcome it if you were playing Rite of Seeking, too, so...
That's true.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, it's the downsides to Eye of Chaos that I can see are literally just costs one more.
Yeah, because it removes the downside of Rite of Seeking and then adds two bonuses, an option of which one.
Yeah.
So maybe it gets close, but I do think that even though it seems small, moving from 4 cost to 5 cost it's a tempo hit.
Now wait for level 2 Eye of Chaos. That's 4 costed.
Or gives you +2 willpower.
Or you know.
All I know is, for the love of God, someone get this woman some eye drops. She needs some Visine, and Ben Stein needs to just talk calmly to her while her eye calms down a little bit.
Jeez, that is some wicked conjunctivitis.
Okay. We also have the easiest one to read, Eldritch Sophist. Yes. Scott, you read first, so do you want to take that one?
Yeah, Eldritch Sophist is playing chess, and he is a 4-cost, level 0 Seeker asset with a willpower icon. He is ally and Miskatonic traded. Miskatonic army. Uses 3 secrets. And then, God, what is the official name of the lightning bolt? Because fast action is not it.
I always say free trigger, but...
I think it's, free trigger. Anyways, exhaust Eldritch Sophist. Move 1 secret or charge from an asset you control to another asset controlled by an investigator at your location. He has 1 health, 3 sanity, fills the ally slot. So he can move stuff around, and he comes up with charges to start you going? Secrets?
Talk about a build around. Well, no, he's not really build around, but it's when you're doing something specific. And the fact that he's Seeker, like...
Spellslinger Daisy? Spellslinger Daisy?
Yeah. Or maybe? I guess maybe in my Quartermaster Mandy deck I could run him and have another resource to refuse to give to people.
When I need some secrets, I sophist myself. Oh.
I like what it's going for.
Yeah,
I do like support cards. So.
4 cost is a bit high. That's
yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's not coming off just him. You can move your secrets and charges around, right? It's any asset you control
it gives
to something at your location. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to encourage me to finally... I've kept having that worm in my brain of, build a deck around secrets. But I think having that flexibility of secrets and charges, I think I would have to devote a lot more brain power than I have available right now to figure out. But I think there's some cool things that can be done with this. But yeah, you're going to have to build intentionally.
I feel like it'd be a deck that's like a slow burn. You have to get all your pieces out, and as you get the pieces out, they help you find other pieces, and then all of a sudden you're like, I have all these secrets. Pow, 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 pow.
You're doing turning Arkham into an engine builder at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would theoretically be really sweet.
Agricola Arkham. Yeah.
Shudder.
All right, well then I'll just jump into the last one that we can read decently, which is the Riot Whistle. It is a Guardian asset, 2 resource costs, 1 will icon, item and tool traded. You may take an additional action during, I'm guessing, your turn, which can only be used to engage. I don't know if it takes a slot. I'm guessing it might take the accessory.
I think that's a very key piece of information that we don't know. Because if it's slotless, I'm like, oh yeah, we've talked
then
before on the podcast about how many times, especially in multiplayer, I need 1 more action. I can engage it, but not kill it. But if it takes up a slot, it's a little bit different conversation. If it's accessory, that's not a huge deal in Guardian, though.
I think it is, though.
What Guardian
Hollowed Mirror, right, is a big one that a lot of people are taking. But also in Zoe with her cross, this would
again,
be
it depends on the
Zoe.
Guardian.
Yeah, it depends on the Guardian.
If you're Roland, I mean, Hollowed Mirror is nice, but especially in like 4-player. Like, just take Riot Whistle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So depends.
I hesitate to even think it takes up the accessory slot, but maybe we'll see. At 2 cost, it seems pretty fine just on its own.
The lip slot.
The lip slot. So my grandfather was a kind of a collector of like funny, well, not funny, but just like bits and bobs of history, and like for some reason he liked old police gear, so he actually bought me one of these when I was a kid, about when I was 8. I don't know if it was this exact style, but it was pretty close. So I spent about a week with this around the house, and I'm fairly certain that they took this flavor text from my mother actually said.
If you blow that thing one more time, I'm gonna make you eat it.
Pretty sure I heard that out of the lips of my own mother.
Yeah. I would wager a guess that this does take up the accessory slot, just because it's an additional action.
Yeah.
It's only engage, which you talk about the actions that are so specific.
But like Finn's whole thing is he gets an additional action just to evade, and that
just
is
to
like
unengage.
But evade is arguably going to come up way more often than engage.
Sure, in like solo, but like if you're playing 4-player, like I think if you're looking at like this is like an investigator power, right? Like I realize that engage is a weaker action than say Daisy's tome action or like Finn's ability, but I think it's a big enough thing that I'm gonna guess, even just for flavor wise, like this is hung around the neck, right? This is going in the accessory slot.
I don't.
If you're playing enemy management, you want this. Nick, think about how many times Wendy had to use the engage action last night.
Well, Wendy couldn't use this, so.
Well, I'm just saying, like even someone as unlikely as Wendy to be engaging enemies constantly.
Right.
I mean, Tony, who has this ability to get a free engage if they have a bounty on them, like I use that a ton. So.
Sure. I find it also interesting that like the riot whistle causes like birds to come after you, or like what are some other aloof enemies? Like cultists are like, oh, that guy's blowing a whistle, get him!
I can't chant with that whistle in my ear.
So, crazy thing, what if this, because it is a tool, what if it takes up a hand slot?
Well, then it's just Joe Diamond, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, as long as you can operate with a single hand weapon, maybe a bandolier? I don't know.
Gotta
Or
make
a
sure I get
riot
bandolier
whistle?
so I can get my riot whistle out.
Get my
I've
merit
heard
badges on there
people do
too.
crazier things. Someone told me recently about a Norman bow deck they built, so
Yeah.
you know.
Like,
Why does anybody even play Norman?
like,
Anyways,
Mark, put down the riot whistle, pick up the flamethrower.
yeah.
So
But
there's
I
some
got the
interesting
riot whistle
things-
and the blackjack.
God.
So there's some interesting things going on with the scenario and the enemies that we'll discuss when we finally get around to discussing these scenarios. But any closing thoughts on the player cards? That's a fun clutch, it looks like so far.
Network asked a question. I presume he can only move secrets to secrets and not convert them to charges. I don't know. So move one secret or charge from an asset you control
Talking
to
about the
another
sophist?
asset. Yeah, controlled by investigator at your location.
Well, you can, but then there's a spell that uses charges with a secret on it. So unless you're doing a grief deck, what?
I feel
I don't
like
know.
my intuition is that they maintain their status as a secret or a charge.
Right.
When they get
That'd be hard to track, though.
Yeah, because you just use resource tokens. I don't
I
know.
mean,
Obviously, if you're being fancy, it's
But
not
I
that
think
hard,
it's
but...
basically like you.
Yeah.
Secrets. Move my secrets onto your machete. Oh, is your gun empty? Have some secrets.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought I'd bring that up. That might be a good question.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it looks like a fun pack.
Should be good. Should be good. Oh, I'm excited. Well, as I said when we were wrapping up the last stream we were doing, I'm like super excited for Innsmouth, but I also like we just got so much content dropped on us with the starter decks.
There is a tower of starter decks right next to me right now. So
I
many
just
cards.
I can't even think for the most part.
You know what else is a really fun pack? Nathaniel Cho.
We need to queue you.
Ayo.
We need to queue up your "Let's get ready to rumble" for this one.
Yo, for Cho. It's so. I'm gonna bail on that one.
Ian had something, and then you ruined it. No, all right.
Oh man.
Someone laugh, please. Now I'm just an asshole.
I feel like that is Nick as a stand-up comedian.
Someone laugh.
The club full of crickets.
If you're not gonna laugh, I'm just gonna sit here till we're done.
The fun thing is, I'm pretty sure Scott's going to edit this episode, so he gets to decide exactly how cruel he's going to be to whom in that edit, because that could go any fucking way. So let's move it on to the Nathaniel Cho deck, or to the starter decks in general. Scott, I know you kind of had some kind of fun guessing game planned for us. Did you want to fire off on that?
Well, I think we're going to do the end. So,
Okay.
Just to clarify though, Sean and Nick, you are going into these blind.
Uh-huh.
And
I have seen
Ian,
nothing but the previewed cards.
Same.
And Ian, you and I, you've seen everything.
I have. There are like I've gotten my eyes on everything. I think whether I remember them or not is a different story. Because I was looking through right now, I was like, I don't remember that card.
In fact,
Fair
you
enough.
may
So-
hear me rapping in the background. I'm literally opening my Nathaniel
This
Cho
is
deck
actually
as we
fun. I
speak.
think this is the only time we've reviewed something the day it came out. So like the deck
Oh.
is actually in my hand as we review.
Ugh,
You know,
guys
no
are so
one
lucky.
else does first looks.
Yeah,
like
I've never
this.
heard of
No one else.
This
Never.
is a brand new,
Yep.
untended concept.
We should name us. We should call it. Oh man, read the signs maybe after the purple card that gets two clues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
And cancels
so.
everything else that's going on.
yeah,
Rite of Seeking, maybe.
yeah. Hi Frank.
Just call it straight out.
Yeah.
All right, Scott. No, Nick. Sorry, Nick. Nick.
Yes,
Lead
yes.
us off with our investigator.
All right. Well, the investigator we are talking about is Winnie. No, it's Nathaniel Cho. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Nathaniel Cho is the Guardian, obviously in the Guardian starter deck. The Boxer, Criminal and Warden traded. He has 3 Will, 2 Intellect, 5 Combat, 2 Agility. Reaction: when you deal damage to an enemy by an event or a fight ability on an event, deal 1 additional damage, limit once per phase. Elder Sign, +1. If this skill test is successful during an attack, return an event from your discard pile to your hand. 9 health and 6 sanity, which is nice. And then his deck building are Guardian level 0 through 5, Neutral level 0 through 5, 30 cards, and then Randall Cho, Tommy Malloy, and 1 random basic weakness. So as bland OG vanilla Guardian as you can get, but I'm still really excited about that ability.
Yeah.
That's the point though, right? With these decks, like this is meant obviously for experienced players. Like we get all these cards, we get new investigators and stuff, but they're also made. You can hand it to your friend, be like, "Here, play this deck," right? Like even their signature cards in all of them are the trait of the class that they're in, right? So it doesn't confuse the new player, right? Like it's if it's blue, it's in my deck. If it's a white card, like the weakness is, I know that's a bad card, right? So they don't confuse the signature good card with the bad card, right? Like it is super, I don't know, like easy to understand. It's pretty simple, but I think these guys are going to get, when you take an experienced player and add the whole card pool to them, like they already look fantastic, but
Yeah, he's the most vanilla deck building, but the ability among Guardians potentially has the most opportunity for shenanigans. Like I don't usually think of shenanigans in conjunction with Guardians unless you're doing some truly weird stuff. But I do think it's interesting that they picked an ability for this starter Guardian that's not the usual Guardian playstyle. Which Guardians are usually asset heavy. Dump your suite of assets out, get blasting, start blasting. And Nathaniel is an event-focused Guardian, which we haven't really seen before.
seems
Might
really
be worth
fun.
looking at Versatile at some point, methinks, to grab a fun event.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Nathaniel with Spectral Razor. We should probably
Anyways.
read his signatures before we get too far into this, though.
No, let's just keep doing the rest of the show like that.
Yo, for Cho. Nick, you want to... no, I'm going to read it. I haven't read a damn card tonight. I'm reading Randall.
You read the Mystic one.
Did I? Oh, okay. I kind of did.
We
We're
had a
going with
Mystic one, right?
Randall Cho is a concerned brother. He is he is Nathaniel's signature asset. He is, let's see here, he's 2 cost. He has a willpower, intellect, and wild icon. He has the ally and medic traits. He is Nathaniel Cho deck only, of course. Free triggered action, as we're now calling it suddenly. After Randall Cho enters play, shouldn't that be a reaction?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to call it a reaction after Randall Cho enters play. Heal 3 damage, or search your deck or discard pile for a weapon asset. Play it, paying its cost, and shuffle your deck. He then has 1 health, 3 sanity, and takes up the ally slot, of course. Yeah. So he's either going to come in for a flash heal or go grab you a weapon. And at 2 cost with a decent sanity soak, that seems like a decent deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think
one of the key Nathaniel cards, which we'll get to in a second, is a weapon traded. So
I was gonna say, like, we can almost like jump back to him when we get to boxing gloves, because like boxing gloves just synergizes with Nathaniel. Like, this is your 3rd copy of boxing gloves, essentially.
Yeah. So basically, Randall just goes around carrying his boxing gloves, I guess.
So you're telling me the boxer really wants his boxing gloves?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice sanity soak though too. Like, that brings Nathan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, that brings him to like 10 health, 9 sanity. And if you include the healing, that's like 13 health, 9 sanity.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be.
That is a
He
tank.
can take a punch.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Scott, do you want to read Tommy Malloy for us?
Sure do. Tommy Malloy. He is a neutral enemy weakness. Humanoid, criminal, and syndicate traded. He has 2 fight, 3 health, and 3 evade. He deals 2 damage, no horror. And he has prey. Nathaniel Cho. I keep on wanting to say Nathaniel Cho only. I know. Hunter. Forced. When Tommy Malloy would take any amount of damage, reduce that amount to 1. So you have to hit him. Like,
I said not buy 1, 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah.
So you
That's
have
important.
to hit him 3 times.
Yeah. So he's just a huge action soak where there's no way around it. Like, yeah, you just gotta hit
bop him.
Yep.
It's got to bop him a few times, eh?
Yeah. The nice thing is, though, like, if you ever evade him for whatever reason or get him far away, he is Nathaniel Cho only for prey. So he won't engage anybody else, and you can hit him even if you're not engaged with him. Like, he's basically aloof, but you can punch him from other people.
Right.
Besides Nathan. So, unless you play Riot Whistle to engage him, I don't know. Whatever.
Very punchable.
And, you know, Nathaniel can take a punch or 2, turns out,
He
with
can,
9
yeah.
health.
I guess,
He's only doing 2 damage, right? Like, no horror.
yeah.
So,
I guess you could handcuff some and not worry about him for the rest of the
yeah.
Throw some handcuffs on. I
Good old
know.
handcuffs.
I don't know if that's worth it, but it would be funny.
Ian, round out the weaknesses in this deck. You know, I feel like as we go through this, we should kind of talk about the deck as it comes, kind of as an entity a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
So we got the weakness. Go ahead.
All right. Self-destructive. I feel like I've been targeted with this card. All right. Self-destructive. Another basic weakness. Sorry. This is a basic weakness, not a signature weakness. That's an important difference. Flaw. Revelation. Put self-destructive into play in your threat area. Seems normal so far. Forced. When you deal 1 or more damage to an enemy, take 1 damage. Okay. Seems like it hurts for Nathaniel. And it's a double action discard. So those weaknesses.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, that sucks as a guardian for sure. Like, if it's a basic weakness, so if you got this in like, I don't know, Rex or something, you probably wouldn't care so much. But
What if you got it in Mark?
that would be so...
Is this like...
Well, fuck me then.
Self-draw-structive.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
Agnes. Like I'm trying to think of. So you like try to take a horror to do a damage with Agnes, and you also have to take a damage to do it. Like any investigator that like. There are some
Pings.
investigators that just blast their damage, and then there are some
Yeah.
investigators that like pull their damage together from various little effects, and it's really gonna hurt those.
Yeah. I think if the way I've been playing Tony, if Tony ever got this would be terrible. Because he...
Garrote wire.
Well, just Tony does so much damage, but he does it in little pieces over like 7 actions. Plus like free triggers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Death by 1,000 Tonys.
I think though, like, I know, Nick, you said like boring to the double action. But again, this is intro deck, right? Like...
Right. Oh, totally.
Yeah, so I understand why the double action. It's like, it's simple. It's not a complex, like, after you do 3 damage to an enemy with
Sure.
1 hit while not using an event and complicated and arithmetic, discard this. Yeah.
I mean, what is interesting, though, is they decided to include a basic weakness in this deck. Like, talking about construction of the starter deck that's, like, a direct counter to the Investigator. Because, like, when you're playing a regular build, like, you draw a random weakness, it may be a direct counter, like Paranoid to your big money skids or something. But a lot of times it'll just kind of be some kind of random effect. So it's interesting. I haven't looked at the basic weaknesses in the other starter decks, but it's interesting this one, like, directly counters Nathaniel.
I imagine they all do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
Just a
think so.
guess. Just a guess.
I think, though, this isn't terrible, right? Like, if you have to take 1 or 2 damage, like, he's got 9 to start. He's got a healer in the deck.
Yep.
Like, it's not crazy terrible if you have to take a damage or 2 to deal with an enemy before you're able to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, though. Like, it directly counters, but it's a really soft counter,
Sure. It just depends on when it hits you. Like, if it hits you right when Tommy Malloy is out and you gotta do 3 hits, that's probably gonna suck.
But then you go ask your friend to come on over and
Yeah.
you learn about how, other investigators can interact with weaknesses in your threat area. So,
True.
Just point at it. Get it.
Get him. So I think then we're back to Nick.
Yep.
You wanna lace up?
With boxing gloves, which this one was revealed earlier. I do really like this one. Boxing gloves.
And
is
I think before we're just going to preface here, we're going to do our best with the investigator cards, but we also don't want to throw out like a 4-hour episode and make everyone go, "What the hell is everyone talking about?" So we're going to try to be efficient. So if there's a thing that we skip over, forgive us.
Nathan's real signature asset, go.
Yeah.
Boxing gloves, a 3-costed Guardian asset. It is 1 combat icon item and weapon traded, which is interesting. You get +1 combat while fighting. And reaction, after you defeat an enemy, exhaust boxing gloves, search the top 6 cards of your deck for a spirit event and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck, and it takes up 2 hand slots, because you never box with just 1.
Let's fighting love.
The 2 hand slots is big. That's not, and it just gives you the +1 combat. I feel like this is a build around card right here.
Yes.
And this is Nathaniel Cho. Like, I don't see building like a Mark deck that just uses this. You know what I mean?
Challenge accepted.
Kickboxing Carolyn. Yeah. But I
Tai
could
Chi
see,
Tony. No.
I could see Calvin using this just because he has access to all the spirit cards.
But
I still think it's just straight up Nathaniel, and that's it. Like, I don't
Calvin would have to versatile it in.
Yeah.
Though.
He can't take this?
Because it's not Spirit itself. It's
Yeah.
Oh, God, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
But yes,
Womp womp.
people have joked that this pack is essentially like, oh, it's the Calvin pack. I mean,
the
Nathan,
Calvin
sorry.
boost.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally was looking
Calvin
at the next
Cho.
card going like, "Oh, this would be really good in Cal." Oh, he can't take it.
Brian from Right of Seeking actually wrote a whole article, a satire article on that.
Of course.
Yeah. But this
I
is
feel so behind. God. Like, I love that I stay out of the leaks, but I also hate that I stay out of the leaks. It's a thing.
like this is the card you want to like mulligan hard for.
Yes.
If you don't have it and you get his brother, you go find this card. Like this is
Yes.
what fuels his deck because it's all event based, right? And like
Yeah.
Are all the events spirit traded? Like, it's pretty darn close.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
I think you hard mulligan for this, honestly, with a few exceptions.
so. When do you upgrade into upgraded bandolier so you can wear 2 sets of boxing gloves?
As soon as possible.
Yeah,
He has the other on his feet, just kicking with
yeah.
it.
This
Limit
isn't
one
Barkham
footwear
yet.
item.
Yeah. Oh, Barkham. 4 paws. Oh. Anyways,
So,
I don't know
moving
exactly.
to I think probably a more general use card. Although, again, one that's lamentable that Calvin can't take it. We have Flesh Ward. It's an arcane slot, so I'm just going to go ahead and read this one. Flesh Ward is a level 0 guardian asset. It's 3 cost, has a willpower icon, uses 4 charges, ritual traded. Reaction: when you are dealt damage and or horror from an enemy attack, specifically. Exhaust Flesh Ward and spend a charge, cancel 1 damage or horror just dealt from that attack. It has 1 health and 1 sanity, so it can take 1 health and 1 more horror beyond its charges.
oh my god.
I love it. I love this so much.
And it has the arcane slot.
Yep. This
So-
is so cool.
Which is not used in Guardian
Yes.
ever. So
Yes,
it's
so
like
I
a free slot.
I think first thing to note is that, like, that's basically a free slot. Like, maybe if you're double wielding enchanted blades, you're gonna go meh. But
Yeah.
Like most Guardians do.
but I feel like it's a slot that largely is uncontested. Also, point of interest: Diana can suck this underneath her when need be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Oh,
sure there's a
when
better
you
way
run
to
it
put
dry,
that. But
when you run it dry, she can just hoover it up
she puts it in her
Put it in the
basement.
basement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basement.
in her basement.
Yeah.
In
Where
her
cultists
cult
put
locker.
things. Yeah. It's like the Hurt Locker, but culty.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I really like this.
I'm kind yeah.
It's a really good solution for someone who has a weakness. Like, even Carolyn might look at this because, you know, 6 health as a guardian, she's going to take some hits, and sometimes that gets kind of dicey. The fact that this can cancel or mitigate whichever direction you need to go, damage or horror, is really good.
I'm kind
It
of
is very limited in what it can stop, but
Sure.
Yeah, the fact it is from an enemy attack is key to know, so it's not going to cancel treachery sources, but I'm kind of tempted to
Right.
throw this into my mark deck for Abandoned and Alone because horror can be an issue, and like being able to cancel that horror from enemy attacks could be huge, and I feel like we're getting more and more pieces of the true tank deck.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That where you're actually keeping enemies at you and just soaking up their attacks. Like I think with these starter decks, we're probably there now.
We're almost to that Dunedain build.
Yes. Yeah. Drink. And you know who else can take this is Akachi because it has charges.
Yeah.
Oh, sure can.
oh yeah.
It's
Sure
giving up
can.
an arcane slot, but I have played Battle Mage Akachi where I'm like, I sure wish I had some damage soaks.
Yeah.
And this is also a great tool to help mitigate attacks of opportunity. If you need to play a weapon or something like that in order to deal with an enemy, this can soften the blow a little bit too. So yeah, even though it is limited to just attacks, I still am really, really excited about this card.
Yeah. I think like and now I'm just thinking like when we were talking about Nathaniel with his 9 and 6 and then add in his brother and it's like he's essentially a 10-9 or a 13-9. You add in these flesh wards, like Nathan can take quite a lot of hits.
It's a very pure card.
It is.
Much like one Grita Wagner. I think we're on Scott.
Sure. Grit Wagner is a guardian asset with a cost of 5, level 0. Ally and hunter traded. She's got a intellect and a combat icon, 3 health, 2 sanity. She has the text. You get +1 combat, which is nice. And then reaction after you defeat an enemy, exhaust Grit and deal 1 damage to her. Discover 1 clue at your location.
Now, I'm quite sure that we'll figure out the real pronunciation for this later on. But let's talk about the card.
Yes.
So evidence on a stick.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I mean, evidence on a stick, and I mean, this card is basically just ripped straight out of Bloodborne, right? Like,
I can't see the art, but sure.
Oh, dude, you need to see the art. It's like straight out of Bloodborne.
Yeah, I like this design. The 5 cost is rough.
Yes.
But
That's
the stats are nice. It buffs your combat. I would love to see like a level 3 version of this that costs 4 or even higher for 3. You know, like even just lowering that cost.
Yeah.
But still, having that after you defeat an enemy, exhaust or deal 1 damage or discover a clue. I love that. And then, I mean, her and Alice
Luxley? Yes!
Yeah! Oh! I love that combo. I want the buddy cop.
All right. Like, I appreciate that, but you're adding another janky what-if situation to an ally that we already were like, too many what-ifs.
Who was I what if about?
For
After
Luxley?
I love Luxley.
After playing Mark with Luxley,
Yeah, she's
I'm
been
sold.
good in Mark. Yeah, for sure.
I used her.
Brick, are you just
in
looking around
Carolyn.
the room and picking out things to say you love?
I love Thermos.
No, I like Alice in Carolyn, and that's the only time that I've really actually like given her a fair shake, and I really enjoyed it.
Imagine,
but yeah.
Would you double up in Roland and then just like pile in clues when you
I
defeat
mean,
them?
why not?
In multiplayer,
I mean, honestly,
obviously.
in
but
multiplayer, it might be
yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
That'd be ridiculous.
Although you probably presumably have a Clover who's already getting them.
just tell
So,
them to take
the
a break.
Roland
Just one, though.
take a nap.
The
I
Roland
got this.
player is telling them like, slow down, hang on, just wait a minute, just leave something.
Just let me kill this thing.
I just love the idea of like Roland with like Greet and Luxley and himself, and then plays like a I've got a hunch, and then just triggers all these things happening, and like which like pings a 1 health enemy, which kills it, and then you play an evidence, and like you just have all these triggers go off, and suddenly everything's dead and the location's clear of clues. So
It's literally like a mod squad. That's
I mean, it's
yeah,
not bad,
that's
and it's
fun.
not specifically defeated with an attack. You can defeat it with anything.
Yep.
With damage from Nathaniel's ability, perhaps.
Or
beat
like
cop.
Monster Slayer.
Let's not get crazy.
well, we better be pretty relentless with these card reviews, or we're gonna have like a 3-hour episode. Ian,
Yep. I think this is pretty fitting since it deals with resources that I'll read this one. Relentless, 0 cost, level 0 guardian asset, combat and agility icons, talent, traded. Reaction, when you deal excess damage to an enemy, exhaust Relentless, place that excess damage on Relentless. Free trigger, discard Relentless, gain resources equal to the amount of damage on it.
oh my god,
Nice.
That's juicy.
This is so Guardian needs a resource
Yes.
engine. Like that's their biggest issue still to this day. They have answers, but they don't have the answers they haven't kept up with the inflation of the costs of their cards.
And to that end, I feel like this isn't crazy power creep, because this isn't going to get you started. This is just going to keep you going.
Yes.
I think that's the most interesting part of it, because usually when I think of resource cards, I'm thinking I need a kickstart at the beginning of a game to get my stuff
Right.
out. There's definitely value in kind of mid-game pick-me-ups. There's often situations where you just need to refresh your money so you can pay for more stuff. So it's in an interesting space. I do think there's no limit on like how much damage you can pile on this and how much resources you can get.
and how often do you like just need to use a gun for the combat boost, but you're like, oh, but it's a 1 health enemy, and my gun deals 2, and it's like this kind of makes up for that, right? And with Nathaniel like taking events and making them deal 1 additional damage, this could help you clean up help you pay for future events.
Yeah. I like it.
I have to admit a moment of disgrace. I was looking at this art when we first looked at the card, and I was like, who carries rice in a duffel bag?
Oh my god, I can only imagine.
Glossing right over the fact that we're in the boxer's deck.
Yes.
So, there's that. It's a cool card. At level 0 cost, it doesn't ask a whole lot of you. I feel like that's going to be one of, if not two of, in a lot of Guardian decks going forward.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 2 of in the basic Nathaniel deck, so yeah.
It sure is. It sure is.
I love
That's a safe bet.
I love the flavor of it's just like soaking up all his excess rage and then shooting out money.
So, capitalism?
Sure.
I mean,
Sure. If the punching bag are workers, okay, moving on.
Before we get too Marxist on this, Safeguard level 0. I believe that's Scott.
Sure. No, I read Greek, didn't I?
Let's go, Nick.
Yeah,
okay.
Are we Ian? I don't
I think
think
it's back to Nick now. Yep.
Someone take it.
Safeguard level 0 is a level 0 guardian. Oh my god. It's a level 0 guardian asset. It's talent traded. It has a cost of 2. It has a will icon, and its game text reads, circle arrow. After another investigator moves from your location to a connecting location, exhaust Safeguard, move to that location. And now I'm going to have to look at level 2 because I can't remember I read that and I'm like, that sounds like regular Safeguard.
Level 2 is each time in that turn.
Yeah.
You move with them.
You basically choose an investigator and you follow them for their turn.
Right.
Yeah, this one is just one time, which for level 0, honestly, like the amount of times I've used Safeguard more, like the leveled up one, more than one move in a turn is maybe 20%. Like it's usually a move. It's a
I think
good
that's
move.
generous.
Yeah, like it's still worth it for the single move, and this one does it. Like, and you pay that leveled up for the time where you just got to boot her out of somewhere and you use all 3 or something. But yeah,
No, I think this is far more useful than level 2.
Yeah.
Wait, was that what you were just saying? I'm sorry, I was...
Yeah.
I'm saying
something
it's a very this is a great start to getting to level 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
It's one
And
of
I
those
think-
things where I take it and like if I don't end up upgrading to the level 2, like that's fine. Like I'll just stick
Yes.
with level 0.
Yes.
But
It's like Safeguard level 2 for sure becomes a staple in any like dedicated killer in multiplayer. This one, same thing, and it's God, I don't know if it obsoletes the level 2 one, but it probably comes pretty close because yeah, Scott, I think 20% is probably generous on how many times you move more than one location off a Safeguard.
I think if you're gonna play Safeguard, you obviously start with this one, and then judging on the campaign, then maybe you go to Safeguard level 2. I think in 2-player you upgrade it because then you can definitely follow your clue person for sure. In multiplayer, like 4-player, this is probably enough, right? Like it just helps you maneuver a little bit. I don't know.
No, I think you're right because in 2-player, if you're going dedicated in 2-player, you're gonna have more space to cover for your one dedicated clover, so you're gonna need more actions. I think in 3 to 4-player, probably level 0 is gonna be enough to get most dedicated killers by.
Yeah.
And clean them out.
Clean them out is a 0 cost level 0 guardian event, spirit and tactic traded. So Calvin can take it. Here we go.
Yay.
yep.
Calvin can take pretty much all these. Actually, yeah, there's 1, 2 he can't take. Anyways, sorry. It has the icons of willpower and combat, and it has the action fight. When this action begins, gain 2 resources.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and you know what, Nathaniel, because it's a fight action, he's doing damage by an event.
Yep.
So he would do 2 damage, and he would gain 2 resources like as this starts,
Yep.
which you could then, if you have like the talents,
Mm-hmm.
you
Buff
could
it.
pay to boost it, or
Yep.
you're just gaining resources.
Both of which are good.
You know, it's also action compression, right? You need to gain 2 resources. You pay a card to gain those 2 resources when you're punching a rat, right? And don't use his ability, and then you use those 2 resources to pay for a bigger event to kill the Night Gaunt also at the same location or something.
Like Monster Slayer.
Wow, really pushing that Monster Slayer. Okay.
No, I like it. It's
Yep.
simple. It's fun. I think this was one that was spoiled. No, maybe not. I guess I can't remember. It seems familiar. I know a couple of the bread and butter cards were spoiled early on in the article. So, but anyway, it's simple. It's definitely suited for Nathaniel. I think you probably taking it for other investigators is iffy. I could see Zoe maybe taking it.
I would take it in a Dark Horse Calvin because you're trying to run low, and then when you need that little boost, you know what I mean? Like,
sure. Oh, yep, Dark Horse. Yeah.
Just to get up to like 2 resources, so you can like once you're done, you can pay those 2 resources back down to Dark Horse level, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are enough. Go ahead, Ian.
I honestly might take this over Quiche in a lot of Guardians. Because because of the action compression, I think Scott was mentioning, like, you're doing a fight action, which you might do already. Obviously, if you're not Nathaniel, it's only doing 1 damage, but that's still useful in a lot of cases. There's 3 health enemies, 1 health enemies, etc. You're getting the 2 resources for doing something you would do otherwise.
And you don't need to succeed.
Yeah. And 2 is not the 3 from Quiche, but you're almost there. You've got a spare action if you want to just gain a resource. And then finally you got 2 icons on the card versus Quiche, you got nothing. So
that's true too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do it while you're engaged with an enemy. Right? Like if you need the money while you're engaged, Quiche is just like, I guess I'll take an attack for 3 resources.
Right.
That's
this
true,
one you can start dealing with your problems while you also gain money.
Yep.
So as a counter to that card, Scott, I think it's you.
I just red cleaned them out.
I'm just like, I wouldn't listen to me anymore. You know what? I'm gonna.
Welcome to the show, Sean.
Nick, it's
no,
to you.
it's Ian.
Nick, it's to you.
All right, it's
Hi, it's me.
Counterpunch. Counterpunch is a 0-costed Guardian event. Combat agility icons, spirit tactic traded, so Calvin and Mark can share it. Fast. Play after an enemy attacks you, even if that attack was canceled. Fight! This attack targets the attacking enemy. Very nice. I love a fast fight.
So after an enemy attacks you,
including in the enemy phase.
Right.
Yep.
Or the Mythos phase.
Or attacks of opportunity. That's huge.
So,
like,
the first thing I thought of... Yeah.
No, I just feel like attacks of opportunity is going to be like the key clutch plays for this one, where it's just how you finish the enemy off.
That's literally a counterpunch, right?
The first thing I thought of was throwing this in Leo with narrow escape. So you play your weapon, they attack you, you cancel it with narrow escape, then you play this and fight back. I love it.
Yeah.
At +2.
I love it.
Yep. And
It's only going to do 1 damage, unless you're Nathaniel, which it does. It could do 2. But yeah, no.
But still, it's a free fight.
blow.
It's a free 1 damage.
Yeah.
Assuming you pass the test, which you should, because you're guard.
Yep. And as opposed to some of these, like we've talked about how Calvin can take a lot of these, I don't think he takes all of them. But this is one I'd look at in Calvin, because like he wants to take attacks. Your attack just got boosted, presumably, by getting attacked, and then you hit him back with counterpunch.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of with Nathaniel, like this could be a 2 damage, 0 cost, fast attack. Like it just, you know.
I also love the idea of playing dodge to actually cancel the attack, just like bob and weave and then hit him back. Like it's so boxery. It's so wonderfully on point.
And Network brings up in chat, you can't use the survival knife if you're wearing your boxing gloves, unfortunately. But if you bandolier, so you're, but with survival knife, right? Like they come at you, and yeah, with survival knife you could build a very tanky, spank and tank build. I think you called it, Sean.
How common do you think that bandolier is going to be in Nathaniel, and why is it vary?
Well, because you can wear 2 sets of boxing gloves, I think you just have to do it for the memes. I believe Brian from Rite of Seeking, again, has already said any of my janky Nathan decks are going to be nacho cheese. Like NA from Nathan.
Wow.
Cho. Yeah.
Wow, nacho. Okay, I'm with you.
So,
Ian, get over here and read this card. Nick, were you about to do the exact same joke?
I was!
So the Scorpion card. So cost 2, level 0 event. Get over here. Has a will icon, a combat icon, spirit and tactic traded. It's both an engage and a fight action. because you choose a non-elite enemy at your location or a connecting location, move that enemy to your location, engage it, and attack it all in one.
So
Wow.
2 cost, 3 actions, essentially, for one. This is like well prepared, but or no, what's the one where you put out three assets for one cost?
Ever Vigilant.
Ever vigilant.
This is like ever vigilant, but like aggressive.
For hitting shit.
Yeah.
This is the anti-cultist.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is.
Acolyte spawns, 1 card, it's gone.
Ooh, or whippoorwills?
Yes. Get over here, bird.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Shut up, bird.
This is a an auto include for Where the Gods Dwell, I think. Like, I mean, it's great otherwise, but I'm thinking I have that scenario on the mind right now because we just played it, and I'm like, oh my god, this would have been amazing. And
It was a very affecting play.
yes, it sure was.
I like this especially in Nathaniel, and if you're paired with a Seeker and they draw like a 2 health enemy in the Mythos phase, and you're like, and they're 1 location away, like you play this card, you move over, grab it, punch it for 2, and you're like, all right, I'll continue over here, and you're good for your turn. Like, yeah, this is very good.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. There's a lot of actions in one little card. Zoe loves it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love how many pieces there are to like the tank guardian build. This is great.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm loving it.
I'm wondering if Nathaniel might be the one that becomes our tank. I don't know.
I think the tools are coming with Nathaniel, but I think there's enough here, just from what we've seen even so far, that you can spread it around and make Zoe like really effective tank. Mark, obviously, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah.
It's almost like Arkham has very fun and varied. Wow. Deck building
Nice.
mechanics. Thank you.
Smooth.
Yeah.
That was a glorious sentence, Sean.
Thank you. Glory is a level 0 Guardian event, as you might imagine. It's 1 cost. It has 2 intellect icons, which one should not sleep on. It is spirit traded and fast. Play after you defeat an enemy. Draw 2 cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And may I add, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in Nathaniel, because his whole thing is events. Like just
Yeah.
So you want to
Card
get
draw.
to them. Yep.
yeah.
Guys, I know this is maybe a controversial view, but in a card game, it's probably one of the best things you can do to draw cards.
But what about your weaknesses? I would play this in, I don't know about a 49 experience deck because it's hard to find space, but even still, like in a 29 experience deck, I'd probably still have this in there.
I think this is super solid card draw, and even if you switch over to like solo, where maybe you're not always going to be finding enemies, those 2 intellect icons will do work for you. This is a fantastic card.
Yep.
Yeah, and Guardians in general don't tend to have like a ton of draw compared to some of the other classes.
Right.
So
You know who this goes in?
Mark?
Guardians.
So no, I don't think Mark. He draws his own cards.
I know that was the joke.
Solo Tony, because
Oh, sure.
he's rich because he kills people for money. This gets you the cards you can then spend your money on, and it's got 2 intellect icons if you need it for that.
Yep. Yeah.
It can get you to your second gun faster.
Does it go in Crystallizer, Tony? That deck that I tried that super didn't work? That I hope
You
maybe
mean
works now?
Crystallizer anyone?
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well.
I tend to throw a lot of 2 intellect icon cards in Crystallizer decks, so I think so. Yeah, for sure.
So I am glad that the rotation worked out that I get to read level 0 Monster Slayer. I didn't even know this was in this deck. Guardian event, spirit traded, cost 0, wild icon, and its game text reads, fight. This attack deals +1 damage. Okay.
Can't get more simple than that.
Yeah.
yeah.
0 cost. Yeah, I mean, cool.
It's a vicious blow that doesn't give you an icon.
It's a Colt.
Yeah, it's 1 Colt.
It's a Colt bullet.
It's a
bullet.
vicious coal.
Now, we always gripe about odd health enemies In Nathaniel, here's your solution. That is right. Those Brotherhood cultists.
Oh,
Bang, bang, bang.
Right? 3 damage for 0 cost. Oh my god.
that's so insane.
Yeah.
Backstab is just crying in the corner.
Oh, poor backstab.
Mark likes it. Again, Tony likes it.
Like, is Carolyn the only guardian that doesn't like it?
Quite possibly. I don't know. I've yet
like
to play with
this-
Sister Mary, but we'll see.
Unless you're running boxing gloves, Carolyn.
It's a weapon. Oh wait, it's a level 0 weapon.
It's a level 0 weapon.
Yeah,
No, that's great. So, who would be Scott?
Sure.
2 punch.
1-2 punch is a guardian event, 2 cost, level 0, spirit and tactic traded. It has the combat icon. And fight, you get +1 combat for this attack. If you succeed, you may fight that enemy again. You get +2 combat and deal +1 damage for that attack.
Nice.
So with Nathaniel, you can do a total of...
Jesus.
Is this just every
3?
Is this every card now we're just doing well with Nathaniel?
Well, I mean, it's in his deck. I mean,
It is, yeah.
So,
So I think it goes without saying.
2
but-
damage
get
for the
4
first
total
attack.
damage off.
4.
Of it.
Okay. So you could pop a Night Gaunt with a 1-2 punch. In one action. Seems good for level 0.
Yeah, no, this is nice because then you can pump up or you can vicious blow even that first one, and then just to get through and make sure you get the second one.
Yeah.
All true. It is a thing that we have to acknowledge that it is a little bit dependent on the chaos bag. So
Yes.
your mileage
Well,
will vary on
sure.
your difficulty.
Sure.
Well,
But
no,
it
I'm
comes
just
thing
saying, like it bears pointing out that that's 2 tests you could fail.
Yeah. But if you're...
No,
if
you
got-
wouldn't even get to the second one if you failed the first one.
That's true.
So it's
certainly
not a
one way
failure,
to look
Sean,
at
if
it.
it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you can't fail twice, so this card is good.
That is the classic avoidance strategy. Well done, Nick.
If you have your boxing gloves on, though, this first test, you're fighting at 7, and the second one, you're fighting at 8.
Oof.
It's not bad.
That's
not
before you
bad.
commit that vicious blow. That's before you have, a beat cop out. Yeah. I
pretty
really,
okay.
really, really like this.
Yeah, so
Ian?
outside of Nathaniel, I think it's still good. Like, you're getting that
Yeah.
action compression of a double attack. Okay, Scott, rules guy. Double or nothing,
Yep.
1-2 punch. Do you get to fight twice after that?
If you succeed, you may fight that enemy again. So yeah, you do the first attack with double or nothing. If you succeed, you may fight that enemy again, and I would just assume it stacks, so you get 2 of those triggers. You fight him twice at +2 and +1 damage.
You just
So Leo has
think.
It's like
Leo has the ever elusive 1, 2, 3 punch.
1, 2, 2.
it's like the E Honda arms, just like a blur of motion.
I think Leo's a headbutt guy. I think he'd close him out with a headbutt.
I feel like he
That's
would
beautiful.
just throw Mitch at everyone.
I mean,
As
yeah.
you do.
And then go Rottweiler him. 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So then I think Scott, are you standing together with us?
He just read
I
counter.
just read 1-2 punch.
Are you kidding me?
Or 1, 2, yeah.
Am I Ian? Am I Ian with Stand Together?
I don't know if
Ian,
you've
let's
become
stand together.
Ian,
Yes.
Sean, I'd offer if you want to read this card, but can you still read?
but Stand
One
Together
would debate.
is a level 0 cost event. Will icon, spirit traded. Choose another investigator at your location. Both you and that investigator gain 2 resources. So
Okay.
the difference from level 3, let's see, is
Just draw 2 cards. And
Yeah,
gain
you're
2, I
missing the
think.
card draw.
Yeah.
So it's
Meh.
like a spread out quiche.
Yeah, whatever. It's
It's
fine.
okay. Terrible solo card.
I think if you're a dedicated killer in multiplayer, you're fine running this instead of quiche
Yes. Agreed.
Sure.
Mhm.
at level 0.
You'll be around someone.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'll.
Yes.
Yeah. This and clean them out. Like there's your.
Mm-hmm.
Is it clean them out? The resource one. Yeah.
Yep.
There. Yeah. There's your resources, and you're also helping out your teammate when you don't because when you're that dedicated killer, there's just some turns where you don't have stuff to do. So it's just
Right.
you're building your tableau and like all your resources so that when you do have to kill, you have all that potential energy. And this is a perfect option for that.
All right, so that gets us through the level 0 cards that we've yet to see. Let's move
Upgrades.
on to the upgrades,
Ooh.
which are
And-
wildly varied. And
Ian, evidence.
yes, that one.
Evidence. 1 cost, level 1 Guardian event, 2 intellect icons. Insight traded. Hello. Fast. Play after you defeat an enemy. Discover 1 clue at your location. 2 clues instead if you defeated enemies with a combined total of at least 4 printed health. This turn.
Amazing and Tony.
Yeah.
I just have Tony on the mind, but
Clearly.
Amazing and Where the Gods Dwell. I just have Where the Gods Dwell. No, I love this one.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
if you're running evidence in your deck, this is a easy
Which-
upgrade.
I mean,
It depends on the deck, right? Like, I don't think
Sure.
evidence goes in a lot of Guardian decks, but if you
I would agree.
are doing that, like if you in a solo Mark deck or something, like,
Sure.
you know, when you get to those locations with 2 clues on them, drag an enemy over or something, right? Like, it just, yeah.
Assuming the
upgrade.
XP is not a huge issue, and I know that's an assumption, do you think you play this over Scene of the Crime?
I think you play scene and level 0 evidence both in solo at least.
Sure.
And then this is like I have a spare XP here or there.
Yeah, and those double icons are never going to hurt.
Yeah.
No.
I think the game has become rife, unfortunately, with 3 health enemies, so I feel like hitting a full 4 cost enemy, or hitting 4 health in a turn, is maybe less common than one would hope, but it does happen.
But remember too,
Yeah.
like you can whittle down an enemy the previous turn and then just do like the last 1 damage on like a 6 health enemy.
Sure.
Oh, right, it's
Right.
looking at the enemies defeated, not the damage done. Okay, that
It's
makes
like
a difference.
let God,
The printed health,
let God sort them out, right? Like let God sort them out. Sorry, can't pronounce that for some reason. Same thing, right? Like you can just get a bunch of high health enemies that you've whittled down to like 1 damage, and then just go pop pop.
And this works great in Excelsior. If you dynamite a bunch of cops, then you can just grab some clues.
Perfect.
There you go.
Pretty good.
They
and you
drop
can-
their evidence.
They drop their evidence.
and you can protect yourself from those cops. Galvanize yourself, even perhaps.
You could.
So Galvanize is a level 1, 2 cost Guardian event. It's got 2 willpower icons. It has the Spirit trait. Fast, play only during your turn. Ready a Guardian asset you control. You may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to fight.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Love it. I love it.
Boxing gloves.
Yep.
Beat
Okay.
cop. Well prepared.
Greet.
Stick to the plan.
Greet Wagner.
Lexley, agency backup.
Greet Wagner.
It's
Who?
Greta,
That's-
isn't it? Isn't it Greta?
Whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Wagner. Point is Wagner.
Wagner.
Mistress Wagner, yeah.
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 It's great.
You know,
It's great.
A lot of targets, and even paying 2 to get an additional action to fight. I mean, Skids
that's
pays
Skids'
2
ability.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's swift
You-
reflexes, I guess.
Yep.
You can ready stick to the plan.
No, guys. In Skids, you can ready Venturer and then use him to load up another bow shot, and then you can use the extra action to shoot the bow.
Oh yeah, that's going straight into the Skids
Yeah.
deck.
And it's
no.
got 2 willpower icons
Oh,
to
yeah,
help
never
him
mind.
pass those tests.
Okay.
Oh my
All
God.
right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I dig it.
I'm flushed.
Got the vapors.
Any other juicy targets? Like the
think
problem is with like the ready an asset thing. Like so many assets don't exhaust that you might expect they would.
If you're playing well prepared,
Yes, that's a good.
Yeah,
That's a good card.
Well, and there's a number of good allies that do too, like Venturer and we mentioned them, but you know what I mean. Like
cop level
this
2,
works with
yeah.
all of them.
All right, let's move it on to the leveled up counterpunch.
Counterpunch.
I think that brings us back to Nick now.
There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
You squeezed out a win there. Guardian event counterpunch. It's Spirit and Tactic traded, cost 0, 2 XP. The icons are Combat, Agility, Fast. Play after an enemy attacks you before resolving that attack. Fight. This attack targets the attacking enemy. You get +2 combat and deal +1 damage for this attack.
Love it.
It's like upgraded survival knife.
Before it gets to resolve the attack. Oh.
And it's free. Oh my
So
goodness.
it's technically not even a counterpunch. Because they don't hit you yet.
It's a parry punch.
You dodged the first one and they're coming at you again.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, boxing.
Does this work on attacks of opportunity? Yeah, why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totes.
Even like a retaliate. You swing, you miss, they retaliate. Nope. Counterpunch.
Oof. Love it.
Oh, that is gorgeous. Blocking the retaliate, that's gorgeous.
Man, between this and upgraded survival knife, you can just like load up the enemies on the last action of your turn, right? Like just taunt them all.
Oh my god.
And then just like pop.
Seriously, so many of these cards are geared off enemies engaging you, being engaged with you, or attacking you. Like the Tank Guardian
It's
is
tank
here.
time. Yep.
It's
arrived.
here.
I can't wait to play this deck. Oh.
Well, Ian, lay the next one on us then.
I will.
better get over here,
This
Ian.
is upgraded. Get over here. Level 2 cost. Double will icons, combat icons, spirit and tactic traded. Fast. Play during any free trigger window. Any free trigger window. Gonna emphasize. I know, right? Engage and fight. Choose a non-elite enemy up to 2 locations away. Move that enemy to your location, engage it, and attack it. Any free trigger window.
Are there windows in the Mythos phase?
Yes.
Yes.
The end.
Okay, well that's still fine.
Oh god.
Okay, so I feel like as we're going through these leveled up cards, you know the meme with like I think it's Vince McMahon. Is that the wrestler guy?
Yeah, where he's,
With
in
the-
he's, like,
various
leaning back in
stages
the
of
chair.
ecstasy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where I'm getting here. Like this is just.
Cresting.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I
that's
have a.
Like, yeah.
Is Nathan once per turn or once per phase? Once
Nathan's
per phase.
per phase.
once per phase.
You
Yep.
do this in the Mythos phase,
Yep.
and then you still have his ability. Oh my god!
Yep.
And then you play counterpunch
In the enemy phase.
In the enemy phase,
Yep.
and then you play get over here again in the refresh phase.
Yep.
Oof.
I didn't realize that he was once per phase.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think I knew it, but now like all these pieces are just coming together.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing how you can just stack.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And this one is now enemy up to 2 locations away.
Yeah.
Which is like basically across most maps.
Sure.
Yeah. Like if you're Midnight Masks and you're in the middle location, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, not everywhere.
Well, it's pretty close.
These
And that's one of the
upgraded
biggest
cards.
maps, so.
Oh.
No, but nothing's more than 2 if you're in where the downtown. What's the middle one?
Oh, you're right. I keep forgetting that
Rivertown?
Rivertown connects. I keep forgetting that Rivertown connects to the university. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Scott. You are 2 away from everything.
Fill out your bingo card. Nick's been playing a card wrong for like 4 years.
It's just so natural for me to go straight south and work my way around the map. That's just how I do it. So.
That's what she said.
Yep. Scott, do you want to?
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. So lesson learned is a level 2 Guardian event, 1 cost. It is Insight and Spirit traded. It has a willpower and 2 intellect icons. Fast. Play after you take damage from an enemy attack. Discover 2 clues at your location.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
This is, I mean, really good. But it's also Spirit traded, and this to me just screams
Yeah.
Calvin because you're
Yes,
like,
100%.
I would like to take an
Yeah.
enemy attack, so my
Thank
stats
you.
go up. Also, I'm going to grab these clues. Great.
Calvin has
talk.
entered the chat.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I do like this in TCU. Like, if you can grab Gabriella as an ally and then also play this, you can just like swipe mad clues whenever you get attacked. That's fun.
It's interesting how many clue-focused cards are in this deck, which I think is a nod to like making Nathaniel accessible for solo players.
Yes.
In multiplayer, like I'm not sure whether you're going to include this whole suite. Like, do you upgrade to level 2 if you could just do a scene of the crime to get 2 clues if an enemy is there? Like obviously this is not a bad card. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there is a threshold of how many clue cards you need in a multiplayer Guardian deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
true.
Well,
I mean, if you're not going pure killer, I feel like if you're playing Nathaniel or if you're playing like all the tanky Guardian cards that we've previewed in this pack, so many things gear off of, hey, an enemy is attacking you now, do all the things.
Yep.
Like I feel like this is so good to just leverage that one enemy attack into and then I counterpunch, and then I survival knife, and then I grab 2 clues off the location, and I paid 2 resources for all of that. So
Yep.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, each of the packs come with like a little guide, and there's 2 different builds or 2 different upgrade paths that are
nice.
suggested.
I think so. It's
So-
next to me. I can look at it.
I think that's it. Like, I'm kind of seeing like a full out damage versus a more well-rounded teammate
right.
build, right? Like, even
That's smart.
Mark, this would be nice and Mark. You draw a card, get clues, do stuff.
yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh no, the rats punched me, and they drew me a card and discovered 2 clues for me. Smart rats.
and now I'm
Yeah, so the sheet doesn't necessarily have like builds that they provide, but there's a whole section on upgrading Nathaniel Cho, where they talk about stuff
sure.
like one of Nathaniel's deficiencies is discovering clues. One strategy for upgrading in solo play: focus on cards, discover clues, etc., etc. So yeah,
I think it was in the big announcement interview, or like the FFG stream, where Matt said they built these with 2 upgrade paths in mind.
Sure.
I guess, and
I think
maybe
I
that's
remember
not
something like that, yeah.
maybe that's not spelled out, but I'm seeing this. Yeah.
Yeah, and the nice thing is about Arkham's, you can split the difference if you want to go flex, and it's
Yep.
it's pretty great.
Yeah.
That said, of your clue options in like what Nathaniel seems to be doing, this seems like it's pretty much kind of at the fore of the pack. Yes.
This is going to be an early upgrade for many Guardians, I think.
yeah.
Particularly in solo.
Sean, do you want to read upgraded mono a mono?
Not really, but we'll see how it goes. So, level 2 mono a mono is still a 0 cost event. It has a willpower and combat icons. It is spirit and bold traded.
Bold.
Play only as your first action, as you might expect. Deal 2 damage to an enemy engaged with you. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. So for the extra XP on this one, above regular mono a mono, you get an extra damage out of it. And then with Nathaniel, this is essentially a 3 damage, no test, first action card.
Guys, Nathaniel is such a blessing. I'm going to interrupt you, Sean. I'm sorry. He's such a blessing because not only does he make the mono a mono we already have playable,
Yes.
he gives us a better version that anybody would be happy to have.
Right.
That's the thing, is like,
Yeah.
getting extra damage in this game has been really interesting. If you kind of watch like the balance, someone posted that meme in our new memes channel, which like made me giggle to no end, where it was like trying to equate like a clue is totally worth an extra like 1 point of damage, right?
Yeah.
And it's so not worth it. But hey, 2 damage, 2 XP.
Yeah.
And this is a 1 XP buff. Like, it's 1 experience point to get 1 extra damage.
And again, like with Nathaniel, that's 3 damage. That's a Brotherhood cultist, no test, dead.
And there are enough times where like I'm either engaging an enemy and don't have enough actions to finish it off, or I did but I missed that last attack, and just being able to be like, all right, done with you now at the beginning of next turn, like that's worth a couple XP in a lot of cases.
Or like if your basic weakness is an enemy weakness,
Yeah.
like I think this is a good counterplay. Like you upgrade into this card at some point during your campaign, and now when you have this and you draw your enemy weakness, it's like 1 action, get rid of it for most of them. I think a lot of them have 2 health, some of them have 3. Like, especially in obviously Nathaniel, you get rid of 3, but in most Guardians, I think if you're stuck with an enemy weakness, this is a good one.
Yeah. So perhaps the biggest travesty in this pack, though, we'll get to it. We'll get to why. But
Is that
overpower? Yeah, I think that goes to, where are we at? Ian?
Overpower, level 2 skill, Guardian skill, 3 combat icons, practiced and expert traded. Max 1 committed per skill test. If this test is successful, draw 1 card. 2 cards instead if it succeeds by 2 or more.
And the guy on the art can't take it.
Yeah.
That's the travesty!
Yep, there's a missing trait
It is
there.
not innate traded.
I see.
But it is practiced. And
Practice makes
perfect. Oh.
Yay!
And when you commit
Roland-
this overpower, you're probably going to succeed that test. Let's be honest.
Probably.
That's +3 is pretty good. I'm wondering if there's a Mark build, and maybe it's already there, and I just haven't figured it out yet, that just has like a ton of like 0 cost cards, and it's just unrelenting card draw, and you just leverage all those cards for something else, right? Like clean them out to get your resources, you counter punch, you use practice make perfect to grab overpowers, draws you more cards, and it's just you cycle your deck like twice a game. But
You just leverage card draw as your main resource and keep your curve low to take advantage of it. Yeah, that could be a thing. I could see that.
Yeah.
Outside of that, and I have a feeling as we go through these investigator decks, we're going to see a version of each of these. Outside of these decks, 2 XP for an extra icon and a conditional extra card draw.
I
like it.
I mean, it's fine.
if you're running overpower, this is like mid campaign. You got some.
Actually,
Yeah. No, I'd
I think I would have rather seen it go, if this test is successful, choose one, draw a card, or deal an extra damage if it's a fight. You know what I mean? Like, I think I would have rather see it turn into a vicious blow.
That's the thing, is like I'm kind of worried about these. Like, yeah, I mean, they're fine, they're cool. Like, I have no actual complaints about this, but it's more like I kind of wish that since these each became class based, that they all kind of had a little bit more class identity to them.
Yeah.
Agreed on that.
I think you do run something like this if you're playing TFA in anticipation for City of Archives, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's a legit reason.
That scenario exists.
Yeah.
It sure
Okay,
does.
boxing gloves. I'm sorry, are we done with Overpower? I'll move on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. Boxing gloves, which is a level... What level is this?
3.
Level 3 Guardian asset. Two-handed weapon, item weapon traded, costs 2 resources, has 2 combat icons. Game text reads, you get +2 combat while fighting. Circle arrow. After you defeat an enemy, exhaust boxing gloves. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a spirit event and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. So it's the same except for +2 fight instead of +1.
And you dig
Right.
9 instead
You
of
dig
6.
9 instead of 6.
Oh, 9 instead. Okay, yep.
And I was
And I
just
think it has
thinking
an
to
extra
myself.
icon? Extra icon as well.
Yep, extra icon, so well
Sure.
prepared, goes up in stock. Nathaniel would be very fun to play across from a very altruistic Mandy, wouldn't he?
I'll book myself.
Dig 9, grab 2 spirit events.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody's fun to play across from a very altruistic Mandy.
That's
As long as Nick's
Yeah,
not
depending on who's controlling.
No,
it.
well,
we
that's...
said altruistic, Scott.
we already qualified
right.
it with altruistic.
Yeah. So Nick, you can play Nathaniel.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It's
great
3 XP
upgrade.
though for an extra icon and an extra dig. That's a lot, isn't it?
It
Is it a lot?
is, but I think like if you are running Nathaniel, like boxing gloves is his alternate signature asset, and his whole thing is riding on like fighting essentially unarmed, but and getting those spirit events. Like I think these are a very early upgrade, quite honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it makes all your other spirit cards work harder because you're finding them better.
Yep.
Or you're finding them sooner. You know what I mean? Like it puts gas in your tank.
But as much as level 0 boxing gloves weren't for anyone else, level 3 is especially
Even more
so.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go. Yeah, it doesn't really go in the opposite direction there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really all there is to say. Like, if you're running boxing gloves already, probably want to upgrade it. Scott, I think we're to you on the next one.
You're giving Greta Wagner. So upgraded Greta. She is 5 cost, 3 XP, ally and hunter traded. She has the icons of an intellect, a combat, and a wild. 4 health, 2 sanity this time. You get +1 combat and +1 intellect, and reaction, or sorry, Nick, circle arrow. After you defeat an enemy, exhaust Gret and deal 1 damage to her. Discover 1 clue at your location or a connecting location. That's pretty good.
So
She's still
the 5
cost,
cost
though.
is still there. Like,
4 health,
I had
4
no
health,
idea.
2 sanity. Important.
Yes,
She
I had
goes
no
up
idea
from
she
3.
was. I had no idea there was an upgraded version of her earlier when I said I would love to see 3 experience for like a 4 or 2 experience for like a 4 cost. I wish that I almost would have rather take the less damage. Like, I'd rather take a health of 3 and a cost of 4. I don't know. It's tough. But that you deal damage to her ability, so that extra health soak it gives you an extra clue, presumably.
But discover 1 clue at your location or a connecting location.
Or connecting,
like, it
that's
gives you that
big.
reach, right? And it gives you that intellect boost.
Yeah, the
Which-
intellect icon is nice
like,
for solo.
In Nathaniel, maybe not, but in someone like Mark or Roland, right? Like, that's a pretty good stat line boost, especially for solo. Like, that is intellect and combat. That's solo in a bag, right?
And like,
Yeah,
and we
that's it
keep
right
bringing
there.
it
It's the
up,
most
but
important.
yeah, we keep bringing it up, but I feel like it's like becoming more and more a great Guardian card, particularly in solo. But well prepared, like that's an additional like once per turn, either +2 combat or +2 intellect off of this card.
Yeah, or +1 agility.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a
I
real
mean,
blast from the past.
it's. I mean, 5 costs. I agree with you, Nick. 5 costs is not nothing. I talked about that with whatever that spell was earlier. The evil eye, the infected eye, the
Conjunctivitis, yeah.
Yes.
Cataracts. Wait.
But I do think, like, God, that intellect boost is for solo very, very good.
And I do think when thinking about the 5 cost for Nathaniel specifically, like the experience of playing him is going to be a bit different than most Guardians, where like your cost is front loaded for a lot of Guardians, dump all these weapons out, these kind of upgrades. But with a Nathaniel, it's basically like boxing gloves and this ally maybe a well prepared, but a lot of the costs are going to be more distributed over the course of the scenario as you play these events. But a lot of these events are 0 cost, so yeah, I think you can afford her in Nathaniel.
That's very true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Anyway, she's good. She'll see play, particularly in solo. So moving on from there, we now have level 3 Dynamite Blast, now with remote triggering system. It is 4 cost. It has 2 willpower icons and 2 separate combat icons. Not together, they are separate. It has the tactic trait. It is now fast. Play during any free triggered action window. Choose either your location or a connecting location. Deal 3 damage to each enemy and each investigator at that location. Yeah.
So, Dynamite Blast was a Guardian card I never felt like we needed an upgraded version of. And then
now
we
you're
got
like,
one,
yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, oh, cool. And now we got another one, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
I think there's 2 things I want to say about this is if I'm ever running Dynamite Blast, I only run 1 because I put it on stick to the plan.
Sure.
Because Nick,
Right.
like you said,
Yes.
you only ever need 1, and when you really want it, you don't have it, and you'll always have it when you don't need it. And anything on stick to the plan, like I've even done this with if I have an emergency cache on there, I upgrade that emergency cache and maybe outgrade the other one. Same thing with Dynamite Blast. Like the things on stick to the plan are there from second 1, so upgrade
You're
those.
guaranteed to reap that benefit.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, there's a fast action window after the hunting,
Yes.
after the enemies hunt before they attack. Just FYI.
That's amazing.
So
Why
there's a
is
window
that
in there.
thing?
Can we call this version, can we call the level 3 Dynamite Blast, can we call it Dynamite Fast?
Dynamite fast. Yep.
I will
That'd be a thing.
insist that we do.
Done.
Perfect.
Yep.
Just the fact you can play it during those windows, like even let's
Yes.
say an enemy has Doom on it and it's 2 locations away. It hunts next to you. You blast it with the dynamite before the Mythos phase can reach, which would have taken that Doom into account. So it's just so flexible. Like the fast is just huge. The fact that you're not going to have to take an opportunity attack to play it in the first place, like it just basically addresses all the weaknesses of Dynamite Blast.
And oh my god.
I don't
Go
know
ahead.
that I'll ever see level 2 again. I'm going to go straight from
No.
level 0 to level 3 because
Yep.
you're doing the same thing and gaining an action back as a result. It's great.
And speaking of that, I just looked at the next card, and oh my god. Taunt, level 3, Guardian Event, Tactic Traded, 1 cost. It has 2 will, a combat, and agility icon. Thank God for that agility icon. Fast, play during any electrocution window. Engage
God.
any number of enemies at your location. For each enemy engaged this way, deal it a damage and draw a card. Like, talk about skipping level 2.
So I'm going to throw this out there again. After those enemies hunt and they have prey and they engage your seeker, you play taunt, they come to you. Right? Like the ones that have prey and it's like, you know, lowest combat and you're like, nah,
Or
over here.
4-player Mythos phase, 2 people draw enemies that don't want them, and in the Mythos phase, just pop this.
Yep. And you deal a damage.
Or
Which with
if they draw whippoorwills, it'll just kill them.
I-
You just make
Oh
fun of
my
their
God,
song and they
yes.
just die.
I am coming around more.
vicious
and-
mockery.
Look, I have level 0 taunt in a Guardian deck right now. I'm coming more and more around in multiplayer to just like, hey, we played Shortcut because it saves us an action and it's cheap. And we play Knowledge is Power because it's an action that we're generally going to take and it's cheap. Like, even level 0 taunt is worth playing if you're planning on engaging things. It's basically another action to attack the thing you're engaging. So it's not a free
If you're
action
planning
to
on doing
engage.
guardian things,
Right.
maybe take a guardian card.
Like, I've shifted my view from it being a free action to engage to being a free action to fight. Because that's really what it is. And the
It gets
ability,
you to the fight faster.
yes, and the ability to draw cards and like lead on with damage as a result to begin with, like, this is really good.
Just imagine for swarms and Dream Eaters.
Oh
my
it's gonna
God.
murder swarms.
That's insane.
Okay, so
I draw 8 cards and all these things die.
oh my god, Zoe with this and swarms
God.
is going to be an
Yes.
insane investigator. I've
I
already
have-
tested it without this. Can confirm.
I have never had so many resources as playing Zoe in Dream Eaters.
Yup.
And that includes playing pay to win rogues. Like it's just I'm like, I have every asset I have in my deck out and I still have 20 resources. I don't know what to do. Like, yeah.
Every cat has a fat stack of cash in their mouth.
You know what I could do with those 20 resources though?
Well, hang on. Last word on taunt. Just point of interest. Electrocution Window was the name of my thrash synth band in high
boy.
school.
Oh my God. I could spend those resources on physical training.
Yes!
Which is a 2-cost level 4 guardian asset. It has 2 willpower icons and 2 combat icons. Again, great for well prepared. It is talent traded, as uses 2 resources. Replenish these resources at the start of each round, and then electrocution window. Okay, fast trigger. Spend 1 resource from your resource pool or from physical training. You get +1 willpower or +1 combat for this skill test.
Oh my god.
This
is awesome.
Apparently, this is something from Netrunner,
Yep.
where there was like
Yeah.
icebreakers or something, where they like
Recurring
you had money
credits.
Recurring credits.
Yeah. So it goes up to 2 costs from 0 from level 2, but you essentially get those 2 resources this
Yeah,
turn.
it
to
just
spend.
pays for itself.
Yeah, and then you just start making bank on these tests.
So we previewed the Arcane Studies version of this in a previous Look What I Found, so we can safely assume that every level 0 version that we got in the core set is going to get an upgrade.
Probably.
I would hazard to say that physical training is probably either number 1 or number 2 among those cards.
Oh yeah.
Anyone gonna argue on that?
I mean, for the class it's in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you have to, because it's level 4.
But I mean, like I think it might be like the best one for its class in the class it's in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Because a Seeker can't take this.
But I'm saying it's better than the Seeker one is for Seekers.
Agreed.
And better than the Well,
it just seems like extra qualifiers because
I think Arcane Studies comes up against it just because
that's what will and intellect.
Will and intellect. Yep.
Yeah, those are useful too.
But either way, this is really good, and the fact that you just get 2 free resources. Basically, you get either +1 to 2 stats or +2 to 1 stat per turn.
Yep.
Like, we play cards for that. There are cards that we play that do
fast.
that.
Yeah. And
Also,
and again, the well prepared. Like, I feel like the icons are crazy in the upgraded cards for this pack. So
Yeah.
I think well prepared is going into Nathaniel.
oof, yeah, so good. I know we're probably gonna have to reference this again when we're talking about the what's the Survivor one? Dig Deep.
Yes.
Does work with Yaddle. Yes, it does.
Oh, right. Yes.
If it's in your discard pile.
Yeah,
Sorry, I forgot.
yeah.
I know, no one plays Yaddle anymore, but
I do in one deck. Exactly.
in one.
I almost put him in that Wendy deck I was running, but
Scott, bring us home.
I just read Physical Training.
Oh my god, you got it. Like, it was a joke. Okay.
You know what? No,
That
Nick,
one was a joke. None of the other
Nick.
ones was a joke. That one was a joke.
okay.
Nick, bring us home because it's.
I
Guardian.
will do it. 1/2 punch is a level 5 Guardian Event, Spirit and Tactic traded. So once again, Calvin and Mark can share it. Cost 2. Comes with 4 combat icons. Fight. You automatically succeed and deal +1 damage for this attack. You may fight again. You get +3 combat and deal +2 damage for that attack. Oh my god. This is what Monster Slayer was trying to be. Right?
Yeah. I mean, so let's see here. So on its face, you're dealing 5 damage, and if you're Nathaniel, you're dealing 6. I feel like, yeah, that's exactly like Monster Slayer is not going to hit anything above that, except for what? There's the Piper of Azathoth. That's but it's elite, so it doesn't matter.
That's elite. Yeah. I'm just thinking. Yeah.
Agree.
6 health is usually what we see on the top end of non-elites, and this can even hit elites. Like,
Yep.
Fuck it.
Like, that's the one thing is like you're I guess for a moment at the will of the Chaos Bag, but as a result you get to target elite things, and I'm okay with that trade.
And doing this in Leo, you can double or nothing it and get a 3rd fight at +3/+2.
Just
The mind boggles.
the potential for combos, which is very fitting for the Boxer Investigator. Like, I feel like Nathaniel's going to be very good at taking down enemies quickly, potentially, if you get the right cards on hand, which is bucket. But, like, if you play a mono, level 2, that's 2 damage. Let's say you use your Nathaniel for that, that's 3. And then 1/2 punch, that's another 2. That's 5 damage testlessly. You didn't even take a test yet. And then you get to do the final fight again to potentially add 3 more damage to that. Like,
So 8?
yeah.
8 in 2 actions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
For
burst
2
damage in this
resources.
deck
For
is
2
insane.
resources.
Yeah.
For 2 resources.
And then you play an evidence because you've killed something worth 4.
And you probably have Greta out, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this is 5 XP, so it's a lot.
It is.
I probably
But it's
wouldn't
worth
take
it.
it
This is
early
worth it.
campaign. It'd probably be more towards the mid to late.
And you know what?
When
If
you see
you're
the bigger enemies, yeah.
when you're playing Nathaniel, if you are taking this later, which is when I think you would, if you have your upgraded boxing gloves, you're probably gonna see this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you loop your deck, you'll probably see it again because you're digging 9. Like, it's yeah.
I'm
Chef's
in love
kiss.
with the idea. Like I mentioned, Leo, I'm really in love with the idea of making like a barroom brawler deck for Leo, and it's just, the rogue card, like double or nothing and this kind of stuff, and that'll be fun. Awesome. I'm in love with that. Like, I'm so happy. I ordered this and Harvey, like, before we started recording. Like, I ordered them on Amazon, so I'm now super excited to get this in my hands.
This deck, yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Nice.
Well, I know this is a broader question, but it probably applies since we just got through, like, going through the entirety of Nathan's deck. Everyone is, like, playing these decks through as constructed the first time or two, right? And then after that, you're gonna, like, tinker and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun.
Good talk. So one thing I want to do, because I know Nick, you, and Sean, and maybe Ian are kind of blind. I wanted to pick a couple cards from the other packs, just a single one, and just like hip shot card review kind of style.
Okay.
So do you have your Harvey Walters decks available?
Yes. It's gonna take me 2 seconds to
open
it
it
but I have
on Arkham DB. Seeker, Asset, Arcane, or takes an Arcane slot, Ritual traded, costs 2, has 4 experience, test icons, Will, and Wild. Electrocution Arrow, during your turn, if you have 8 or more cards in your hand, exhaust Farsight, play an event from your hand, paying its cost.
Once per turn, an event from your hand gets fast.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Do you guys run events in your deck?
Yes.
Yes.
Seekers, are you kidding?
That was not a serious question in any capacity.
I mean, this is obviously a big hand type deck card,
Yes.
which
You don't
which
say.
Harvey is. So if
Yeah,
you're
Harvey's
not
all
running
about
that, you're probably not running this. But that all being said, yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. What about like a leveled up prep sketches?
Yeah.
Right? Fast, draw 3 cards.
Hey,
And
that's almost like
cryptic
cryptic research.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
That's sexy.
Ian, I know you've seen this one. It's from Winifred. Chuck Fergus. Just type in Chuck, and he should come up.
I need a cigarette.
So I'll read this one for you guys. It's Chuck Fergus. Rogue. He's an asset, an ally, 3 cost, 5 XP. Did I say rogue? He's rogue.
Yep.
He's got a combat icon, an agility icon, and wild icon, 2 health, 2 sanity, and then reaction. When you play a tactic or trick event, exhaust Chuck Fergus. Choose 2. That event gains fast. That event costs 2 fewer resources to play, or you get +2 skill value while performing a skill test during the resolution of that event.
Oh my god!
Chuck is ridiculous.
5 XP, which is not nothing, but holy
Choose
cow.
2.
Choose 2.
Yeah, choose 2! Choose 2!
Fast and 2 cheaper. Like, just think of all the events.
Fast small favor, fast decoy, fast intel report. Cheapen the cost by 2.
Tactic or trick. Pretty sure decoy.
Aren't those... Oh, they're favor.
Those
Yeah,
are
never mind.
favors.
Those are
Yeah.
favor. Damn
Backstab.
it. Well, sure.
Yeah.
One cost
Backstab for
backstab.
fast
Yeah.
and 1 resource? Okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Or
That's-
backstab for 2 cheaper and +2 to your skill.
Or fat. Well, you're
Or
going to have
fast
money because you're rogue, so yeah, go fast and +2. Holy shit!
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Damn.
Okay. Last one. I made a whole playlist based on this one. I would like you to look up the chainsaw.
Yes!
And
Yes!
specifically, Sean, I want you to think of Yorick with well prepared.
Okay.
So go ahead and you read this one.
Okay, so chainsaw is survivor asset for level 4. Whoa, level 4, that's the thing. 4 cost, 2 hand slots. Uses 3 supplies. Supplies on a weapon, guys. Supplies on a weapon.
Supplies.
Action, spend a supply. Fight. You get +2 combat and deal +2 damage for this attack. If this attack fails, either place a supply on chainsaw or deal 1 damage. What? Deal 1 damage to the attack? Why are we failing? Oh, it's survivor.
Hey, Sean.
Sean, it has 3
Did you
combat
read
icons.
the 3 combat icons?
Oh no, I
And-
super did not. 3 combat icons, well prepared.
And
That
well
that
prepared.
attack's hitting with well prepared.
With Yorick and well prepared and this alone, just that little itty bitty combo, you're swinging at 9.
That's pretty
then,
great.
Then you play your knife to, when it's out, to kill something, and then you put it back into play.
Is that Jenny in the art?
Yes.
Looks like it.
So, anyways, chainsaw.
That's pretty
That's
great.
insane.
No, give me a mystic one. I mean, I'm about to go sleeve the Jacqueline deck, but let's do this live.
The thing is, like, Jacqueline doesn't have any, like, bomb ass.
All right.
Nah.
I've not seen the deck yet, but I'll
have
not
you
have you
seen-
besmirch the name of Fine.
Have you seen Recharge level 4?
I recall it being mentioned. I can't remember if we actually ever talked about
Looking at it now.
it. Okay. So still 0 cost. 4 level 4, 3 willpower icons, spell, choose a spell or relic asset controlled by investigator at your location and reveal a random chaos token from the chaos bag. If you reveal a bad stuff token, add 1 charge to the chosen asset, otherwise add 4. Woo! Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So your gate box doesn't go away.
Boy, I can see someone min-maxing with Eldritch Inspiration and oh no wait, you don't need place 2 with that. That is a
there's a-
non-bow, everyone. That is a non-bow.
There's also a level 1 Eldritch Inspiration now, too, in her deck.
What?
When you would when you would resolve any effect on a mystic card that
Bad stuff
triggers
token.
when if or after a chaos token is revealed. Just a chaos token is revealed. Either cancel that effect or resolve an additional time.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So yeah, okay, that does it. That would do that.
There you go.
It's also a
These are insane.
Diana-able, which
Yeah,
is fun.
there's a couple bomb ass cards. I don't know if
Oh
you've
my
seen
god!
the-
Level 2 grotesque statue. I can
Okay, we're gonna be
finally.
here
I
all
know.
Scott, Daisy can take it finally.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, she wanted grotesque statue.
No, okay, when we first played Arkham, it was a single core set and we started at like 10 p.m.
So we were
in-
desperate for upgrades.
in the hotel that I usually stay at Arkham Nights. And it was like 2 a.m. when I'm upgrading Daisy, and he just handed me the Mystic cards, and I took Grotesque Statue level 4.
And I totally let him.
And then who was watching us play? And then I played it, and he's like, Daisy can't take that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Anyway, so she can take it now. So there's that.
Yeah.
Well, that was a wild ride.
And a
Yes.
long one. Oh my god. There are so many damn cards in these decks, guys. Oh my. Like, I know.
So much to play with.
Dude, I feel like I've been saying nothing but, oh, get ready for this big influx of cards, guys. It's going to be huge. I still am staggered by how many new cards we just saw.
That was
That
one
was
deck.
one of
like,
5 decks.
One deck.
And there's a lot of like bomb cards where we're like, oh, amazing. But there's also just a lot of good cards, right? Like
Yes.
stuff where you
Yes.
just upgrade into them because it's a good option, or it's stepping towards something else. Like it's more unique cards than were in the core set,
Yep.
and
Yep.
just more cards than the core set as
I
well.
feel like I
it
just had 6 months of player card content dropped on me. And it's probably more than that.
you had about a year,
Yeah.
honestly.
Like
Right,
2
like, think
boxes
of
in a full cycle.
Yeah. So
Oh, exciting. So, that was Nathaniel. Going forward, we're going to like dip in and out of reviewing the rest of the starter decks just to make sure no one gets bored of us talking about cards for way too long. So expect that. I mean, hopefully we'll wrap before Innsmouth, but probably not. Almost definitely not. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Let's move it on to a little bit of tentacle time, a little bit of high and tight tentacle time. Ian, what's been grabbing you of late?
I'm gonna keep it super short. I've been mostly playing Arkham actually with my free time.
What?
Yeah, it's strange, I know. The only other thing is I just started playing the Avengers beta of the Avengers video game that's coming out soon. I heard very mixed things about it from various people, but then when I tried it out, I enjoyed it. It could be because I was playing it a lot with my son, and he was having a grand old time with that. Like, getting to control Iron Man, I mean, come on. Like, so I pre-ordered it. I'm going to buy it, and yeah, I think it doesn't... The main thing for me is I wanted, like, it to have cool abilities for the different heroes and to feel like your control, like Marvel feels different from Hulk, etc., which I think it does that. They have plans to release a lot of DLC characters and costume changes and all that good stuff. So anyway, yeah, it seems like it's going to be a good time.
I've kind of kept my nose out of that one. What's the basic structure of the game? Is it like a MOBA?
There is a like solo campaign which you go through, but there's also quite a few missions where you can bring people in for co-op online if you so choose. So
sure,
yeah. So it's kind of a.
Is it like a horde mode basically, like survival mode, or other objectives that you're trying to fulfill?
I'd say it's mostly kind of that structure you might expect of like move to a scene, the enemies are gonna swarm you, survive that swarm, move to the next location, etc. Yeah.
It's a third-person action game, Sean.
Sure.
And how nice of Sony was it to let Marvel use their character Spider-Man for the PlayStation game?
People are
That's just
very
so nice
salty about the Spider-Man exclusive, which I would have been too if I didn't move to PlayStation. I'm sure, but But Miss Marvel is my favorite so far of the characters I've controlled.
She looks really cool.
Oh, Miss Marvel. Is it Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, I assume?
Yep. And like
Kamala Khan? Kamala? Where's that emphasis go?
I say Kamala.
I think it's Kamala.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she has the special ability, that you can activate for a limited time to grow super big and takes out people. So yeah, it's fun.
I have that power myself.
So Nick, what have you been doing?
Two things. I mentioned previously on the other episode, or the last episode that I was on, that I've been playing Dark Souls 2. I just beat Dark Souls 2 last night, or 2 nights ago, and now I'm actually starting to dig into the DLC a bit more. And once I'm done with that, I will then be starting Dark Souls 3 and completing my complete run through the series for the first time ever. And I mentioned it last time, but I still, now having beaten it, I am in the camp. I enjoyed Dark Souls 2 more than I enjoyed Dark Souls 1. And I know that I entered into Dark Souls. Like, Dark Souls 1 I have a weird relationship with because I tried to get into it back in the day and couldn't. Like, I just kept bouncing off of it. And now that I went back to it, I go back to it knowing what everybody says about all three of these games. So, of course, the chips are kind of stacked in a weird way, already. Like, I'm not seeing this with fresh eyes or anything like that. Far from it.
Nor with the ridiculous amount of expectations that come with playing a game when it releases.
Exactly. But just Dark Souls 2, everything about... I won't say everything about it, but like the level design is top-notch. The environments are beautiful. Dark Souls is very drab and kind of oppressive in its gloom,
decay.
which it should be, like that fits. And Dark Souls 2 has places like that, but really, like, the variety in the environments in Dark Souls 2 is just amazing. And the weapons are awesome, and the leveling is cooler, and the weapon upgrades are so much better than Dark Souls. Original Dark Souls, upgrading your weapons is the worst, unless you know exactly what you're doing. And in Dark Souls 2, it's all so much easier and cleaner. Anyway, really fun, really fun. But the thing that I really want to talk about, and I encourage anyone who can hear my voice to stop by twitch.tv/Nicholas Corey on Tuesday, September 1st. So it should be like a day or two after this episode comes out. At 7 p.m., I will be starting the Dungeons & Dragons campaign Rime of the Frost Maiden on Twitch, where we will be streaming every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And Ian is one of my 6 players in that campaign.
What?
So
Ian's finally playing?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm super excited. This is a winter-themed horror campaign from Dungeons & Dragons. And the first few sessions, we're going to be playing through the introductory material that's currently available that isn't directly connected to the campaign, but it's set up to be like a starter, like a prologue. So we're going to do that for a few sessions, and then when the book actually comes out on the 15th, then we'll just transition right into it from there. So really excited. Twitch.tv/Nicholas Corey to check that out, and I encourage you to do so.
Excellent. Scott, how about you?
I have a bunch, but I'm going to run through them really quick because it's super fast. I started watching Umbrella Academy. That's a fun show to watch. It's
I've heard
based on a
good
graphic novel. Yeah. Based on a graphic novel by the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's really, really good. So just give it a shot. I finished watching... Well, I kind of wanted to talk about Ozark, but we don't have a lot of time because, Sean, I know you just finished season 3. Nick, have you finished it yet?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, my God.
I'll get to it. It's just like, I gotta prep myself for that shit, man.
Yeah,
I continue to be amazed at the ways that show makes me feel stressed out.
Like,
Ugh,
I just...
Not what I need right now.
This season gave me the most stress out of the 3.
I'll wait till, like, Christmas for that.
And the other thing that stressed me out about it is season 4 is going to be the last season. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Given how season 3 ended, that doesn't surprise me. I'm very much looking forward to it.
But you know what? I like when shows, like...
End?
It's not going to go too long, you
Yeah.
know? If they do it well and it ends and they put a bow on it, I'll be very happy.
Dude,
I'd
yeah.
rather have a good ending than just every,
a flame out.
consistent...
A season 8 of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Been playing a lot of Marvel. I tried playing against the print and play, what do you call it, modular set they put out, the Ronin one, where the bad guy's got, like, he's a minion and he has 9 per
He has
player health.
boss-like health.
He's basically a boss, and hits for 3 and schemes for 3. And so me, my wife, and our friend put together 3 decks, and we went against Expert Ultron with Ronin. And it took us 3.5 hours, but we beat him.
Wow.
So
That sounds like the worst card game
it was
I would have ever
amazing.
played. Oh.
Oh, God.
And-
Ultron's such... like, with the drones, it can be such... all right, well...
Yeah.
3.5 hours of Expert Ultron with Ronin.
That
Yeah.
that sounds very much like that 4-player game of Belagos that we played at Worlds that one year.
Oh yeah.
Just like...
But see, we had fun, right? It was
it's
just
true. It's true.
yeah. So same thing. And lastly, I've been playing a lot of chess lately and actually studying.
Oh, is that a new FFG LCG?
Yeah. Collectible, limited edition little stats.
Rook pack!
Yeah, yeah. Turns out this LCG has 1 pack. You buy it and you got it for life.
Queen OP, please nerf.
So if anyone wants to play chess, shoot me a message on Discord. Me and Sojourn, another guy on our Discord, have been playing a lot, and it's been super fun. I'm not super great yet, so if you're like, oh yeah, I played chess for 12 years in high school and after that and stuff, and I studied it, you're probably just gonna crush me. But yeah, we can play. So
Hey,
We should play a game. I haven't played in a long time.
okay, yeah, make a chess.com account, and there's an app on your phone you can play like asynchronous. It's fantastic.
Sick.
So
excellent.
yeah.
For my part, I've mostly been playing Arkham. I did dip back into Dark Souls 3. Back in November, I played like an 18-hour session over the course of a weekend with a friend, like we were fucking degenerates. And finally picked that back up. Dark Souls 3 is a great game. I'm excited for you to play it, Nick. Stream it.
Me too.
I'll watch it. The only reason
okay.
I'm not watching Dark Souls 2 is because I just don't want spoilers for when I eventually get to it.
Well, and I play the Dark Souls games I play after everyone's in bed, so if I stream it, I can't really do commentary. So,
Right.
yeah, it's just you watching me silently upgrade my greatsword to raw +8.
Give it the old raw +8.
Yeah, I got a trademark. What can I say?
But yeah, it's been good. I bought Ghost of Tsushima, but I've yet to actually crack it. I've installed it. I've hovered over the icon a couple times, but I've yet to have like that 2 to 3 hour block where I'm uninterrupted and I have nothing in the future where I just get to sit down and enjoy it.
I need to get back to it.
So that's to come. But I've heard nothing but good. I've heard very good things, and then a couple just they could have done better on a couple things. But it's been getting pretty good reviews, and I just need a little bit of katana in my life, if I'm being honest. I want to cut some bamboo stalks. So anyway, that's me. Pay attention, everyone, to our social media. Follow us if you haven't already, whether that's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Join our Discord, please, to be updated for Farkham Nights. We're going to bring the community together. We're going to do Iron Man, and we're going to see how many damn teams we can get playing at the same time on that Saturday. And it's going to be a lot. Spoiler alert. It's going to be a lot. So, on behalf of the Mythos Busters, thank you for joining us for episode 89, and we'll see you guys for 90 next time.